Ow. Hey there. Happy Monday. Happy panel. Happy live stream. Happy turn off the music. Hang on, here we go. So it looks like it's a good day for somebody today. If your name is Donald J. Trump, looks like he's getting all his charges against him dropped. Hey, Moose. What's up? At least the January 6th ones and the Mar-a-Lago ones. So that means we'll never know. I was hoping to see what information came out of the trial. Now it's going to be an open-ended narrative that people can fill in with it, whatever their brains come up with. But I guess it means at least we can move on. There's nothing to do about it now other than keep debating it endlessly. Let me see what else is going on in the news. That's the big thing that caught my attention. That's really the only new thing I see. Everything else is Israel, Ukraine, that kind of stuff. All right, I'm just doing an open panel today, so if you want to come up and talk about anything, if you have problems, if you want to come up and try to make problems, it's just going to be hopefully an ordinary Monday in a very extraordinary place. All right, let me see if I have any tweets. There's been a lot of, there's kind of a debate going on Twitter and a few of the threads I'm involved in. People are coming out as very pro-Karen, like very supportive of Karens. Hang on. And it surprised me because it's usually from the same people that are against wokeness, against other forms of authoritarianism, but they're all appreciative that we have these Karens around to enforce these unspoken social norms. And that really kind of throws me. Hang on. I'm still in the middle of those threads. Sorry, I shouldn't try to get involved in a Twitter debate while I'm on stream. But I don't know. Come up and talk about Karens if you want. All right, I'm done. I'm back. Hello, how you doing? How's your day? What's up? All right, let me see if I have any actual tweets to share. It started with, okay, you can tell me what you think about this video. Some of it started with this video. This is somebody at a national park or state park. It's some young people and they have a dog with them. And it's a service animal, or so they say. And service animals are allowed under federal law at some of these places. And there's a Karen that shows up and tries to lecture them about the dog. So let's see what she has to say.
From going to a park because of a service animal. What? Do you own this park?
Hang on, let me.
So I'm barred from going to a park because of a service animal. What? Do you own this park?
I live right up there.
So do I.
No, the answer is no. She does not own the park.
So? Do you own this park?
Service animals are not allowed.
Do you own this park?
Dogs are not allowed on this trail.
Service animals are. You don't get to override the law.
We're from the community college, that's fine.
What?
We're from the community college, that's why we're here.
I'm glad they're filming her.
So this service dog's allowed in the classroom as well. I'm pretty sure it's federally protected law.
Yeah.
No, this is not. This is This belongs
This is
to
my
the police and
territory.
the
This is
So then the
This is
federal law
mine.
works.
I'm
Saying that the
the
American
authority
Legal
here.
Defense Act doesn't apply to
Federal law
to,
trumps state
to
law.
state to
I
cities
love
that
that they're
follow
at
the
least not
regulations.
giving in to
When
her.
you have a protected
I would
wildlife
just keep
area,
walking. I wouldn't even bother to
dogs
even
are
waste
not
this much
allowed.
time with her.
That is a hard and fast rule. Did you see the disturbance of the animals around
That has
here
nothing to
in
do with what they
March?
just
So
said or the
service
law
dogs are
lady.
legally permitted anywhere in the country that visitors can go. So even if dogs are excluded, this is a service animal. So you can call the authorities all you want, but technically
Right.
this is a
Call the
service
real
animal.
authorities, which you are not.
Did you know that there are
We're
protected?
gonna move on. Okay?
Yeah, good. Look at
You
her.
guys,
Nothing you can do, Karen. Just go seethe. So that's what started a lot of these threads. Hey, Bex, Joey Waddles. I'm still not sure who's who. In my head, you're both Joey. Um, hang on, that's okay. Hang on, I'm really into this Karen topic. Sorry. Um, I can't believe how many people think Karens are a good thing. One person even went so far as to say, cops can't always be around. Good thing we have Karens. Are they deputy cops now, or is that what we want? Like a bunch of middle class white ladies running around acting as an arm of law enforcement when law enforcement can't be there? I don't. Okay, back to Twitter, back to real Twitter. Some of it's the concept of using social shaming to enforce unspoken norms, but I don't think unspoken, like, who gets to decide unspoken norms? I don't think that has a place in a liberal society. I don't think your norms are any better than anybody else's norms, and you don't get to try to enforce them or impose them on other people. So this idea that we have these cultural norms or these societal norms, and Karens are useful for enforcing them, bothers me right there. Like, we have laws which we all agree to follow as part of society, but outside of that, I don't have to follow your norms just because you think I should. So I think it's the underlying premise about why people are having this appreciation for Karens in the first place. Because I think secretly they want to see their norms enforced. Even though they know they're not legal norms, they still want society to run a certain way, and they're happy to, I guess, allow a little bit of authoritarianism or empower certain people to exercise a degree of authoritarianism over the rest of us to see those norms enforced. I consider that illiberal. I don't consider that in accord with a free and open liberal society. That's not the values of a liberal society. If you want me to do something, then through dialogue, you have to persuade me or convince me to adopt what you want me to do. You don't just get to harass, bully me, guilt me, shame me. And I also come at it from the autism angle, where we're always like neurotypicals are always try to socialize us to their norms. And I think it's poor boundaries. I think it's overreach. I think it's authoritarianism. I hate HOA communities to begin with. Yeah, Philip, that's part of what's coming up in the discussion is examples from HOA communities. which I would never live in an HOA community to begin with. So I guess that's maybe there's some settings where you consent to live by a set of rules in addition to the legal rules we all agree on as a society. But even then, I don't like they should have an enforcement mechanism built in to the HOA agreement that doesn't involve Karen. I still, even if it's an HOA situation, I don't see the justification for Karens. I think some cultures or some people just like to police other people. And I think that cuts into individual sovereignty, individual autonomy, individual self-determination. Everything, it's the same people that praise individual freedom, but at the same time, they're happy that we have a bunch of Karens going around encroaching on that freedom. I don't understand it. It's not coherent to me. So for some way it makes sense in their head that it does not in mine. I also want to show this little picture because I think it applies. Like it, everyone will relate to this from the panel verse, I'm sure, and the conversations we try to have on here. This little meme. This is his big, complex, multidimensional thought, and this is when they try to put it into words. And this is the things I get frustrated over from other people, but I also suffer from this. So I do the same thing. I need to become aware of when this is happening. Both of these actually, when these are happening. And I guess the best thing you can do is either try to help them put it into words or just leave them alone until they can figure out how to express it. Let me see if I have any other tweets. Oh, this kind of goes along with the Karen stuff I'm talking about. This is from Wocal Distance. He says the appeal of mass social movements doesn't come from the movement's ideas, but the capacity of the movement's ethos to meet the psychological needs of the adherents. That's why Nazis saw communists as potential converts. The revolutionary ethos, not the content, is what hooks the fanatics. That's why movements like BLM are able to recruit so many fanatics, revolutionaries, moral entrepreneurs, artists, and so forth. The revolutionary ethos meets a deep psychological need for belonging, validation, my frustration isn't my fault, community, etc. We see that with the little troll armies that gang stalk on here. It's that need for, it's tribalism, it's that need for a tribe. And I think with the Karen situation, people have this need, I guess, that I wish they would just be honest about, to control the social norms that other people live by. It's a psychological need for them. But I don't have an opinion of how anybody in particular should be living. I don't feel competent to decide that for other people. I have my personal norms and my personal boundaries, and if you cross those, I'll communicate that to you. And I'll take myself away from you if you continue to do it, or if you follow me around, then I'll have to physically enforce them in self-defense or something. Or I'll turn to a proper authority to enforce them. But either way, I'm not going to tell you how to live. I'm just going to tell you how I'm living. So you'll have that information and you can adjust yourself to that. So I guess that's all I got. That's all the tweets I have too. I'll just wait for a panel to show up. Let's see who's streaming. Benjamin Boyce. Why does he stream the same time I do? He has all day long he could do this. He just started too. He usually streams at noon. Now he switched to my time. Quit following me around, Benjamin. OTW. Oh, looks like he has. I thought that was Ren. Oh, he might just be rewatching somebody else's stream. I see Talcott, Flow State. Nope, not a lot going on in the Panelverse either. It could just be a slow Monday. So if you have anything you want to talk about, just hop on. Otherwise, I'll find something to monologue about for half an hour or so. You know what? I'm going to ask the AI about these Karens. I see a lot of support for the idea of Karens. Let's see, I see a lot of support on social media. And enforcing unspoken social and cultural norms. This bothers me as an anti-authoritarian, as a classical liberal, an anti-authoritarian, and an autistic individual. Can you give some pros and cons for both sides of the issue? Certainly, the topic of Karens. The AI, I didn't even tell it what a Karen was. This is what it came up with. A term often used to describe individuals who assertively or sometimes aggressively enforce perceived norms or expectations in public. Right. And for me, I think at the core of it, it's that infantilization. There's no way to Karen without making the target of the Karens feel like a child and the Karen seem like the parental figure. It's a form of maternalism or paternalism, which automatically makes the other party the infantilized party. Because the liberal way of doing it, it would be a dialogue or a conversation between equals. So there's a certain authoritarian element that turns it into an unbalanced power differential. The topic of Karens has sparked debate about their role in society. Let's break this down for both perspectives. The arguments supporting the Karens. Here we go. Enforcing norms. Whose norms? Who gets to decide the norms? We have a political process for that. It's called legislative bodies that make laws. Karens can serve as informal enforcers of societal norms. We don't need that. Why do we need societal norms enforced that are not already codified into law? Which some argue, okay, is necessary to maintain order. Aha. So underneath it, there's a desire for order, especially in situations where rules are being blatantly ignored, line cutting, littering, etc. So if somebody cuts a line, first of all, if somebody's littering, a Karen going and tell them not to litter is not going to suddenly make them pick it up or stop littering. If somebody's cutting in line, there's usually some kind of security or staffing around that you can say, hey, this dude just cut in line. Can you do something about it? And they'll pull him out of line. If they don't, then you can take it up as a grievance with whatever that business or organization is that's allowing people to cut in line. That still doesn't take Karens. Accountability. I'm not accountable to total strangers. I think that's a part of it too. I don't feel accountable to another person just because they have an opinion about how I should be doing things. By calling out behavior they see as problematic, Karens might deter actions that harm community standards or safety. What are community standards? Who decides those? If they're not codified into law or policy, you can't just make up unspoken standards that the rest of us have to live by, not in a liberal society. They give the example of noise violations, reckless driving. We have law enforcement for that. If somebody's I've done both sides. We've called neighbors making noise, and we've had cops called on us for being noisy. Cops already handle noise violations. We don't need. What's a Karen? What's a Karen gonna do? Go knock on the door and say you're making noise? They don't have the power to stop the noise. The person can say "fuck you, bitch" and just keep playing the noise. How is a Karen going to make? How is a Karen more effective than a law enforcement officer in this situation? Number 3, empowerment. This is a point that somebody else made, that it's a signal of a high trust society when women feel comfortable speaking up. I don't understand why they don't feel comfortable to give. I'm not interested in a society that gears itself toward women's comfort or women's feelings. If women don't feel comfortable speaking up in the current society, the way things are, our liberal society, that's on them. I don't think we need to do anything special to society to make them feel comfortable about speaking up. And I don't think it indicates, I like the trust level of a society where women are not empowered any more than anybody else to speak up. We all have the same equal voice currently. I'm happy with that level of advocacy. So if some people take it as a sign that when they see women being able to speak up, it's a sign of progress or high trust or whatever, I disagree. I think it's an indication of your need for more authoritarianism in society that we currently have. You're not it's the same people that want to curb speech and gun rights and all that stuff. They are not happy with the current level of freedom. They want an extra layer of regulation or control over it. I consider that authoritarian. The willingness to speak up can reflect a form of civic engagement, as not everyone feels comfortable confronting wrongdoing. First of all, I don't care about your feelings. Second of all, if somebody's doing wrong, call the cops. That's what they're there for. It's not your job to enforce laws. We have law enforcement officers for that. The Karen would be the first to set before. But that's a self-appointed role. Nobody needs them to do that. If the cops want to deputize people to do that, they can have a formal process, and then that person would have some kind of authority vested in them by the police. But these are just citizens taking it upon themselves to decide to be the police. I don't think that's a good thing for society. Yes, you're right. Kens do exist. I see them all over the Panover. In fact, I probably see more Kens in the Panoverse than I do Karens, because I call them male Karens, but Ken works as well, because I think there's just more men that are drawn to this environment, at least my little side of it. Hey, Beak. I'm on another Karen rant. This time I got the AI involved. And the fourth pro they give is social cohesion. Some believe that unspoken norms help to bind communities, and those who highlight them are playing a role in reinforcing shared values. You can have all the community you want, but not at the expense of my freedom. I don't need to be part of your community. If the only reason you're doing this is to gatekeep me out of your community, you don't even have to go through all the trouble. I probably don't want to be a part of that community to begin with. And that's something extra legal. That's something that is happening outside of existing legal norms. So the rest of us that are not part of that community shouldn't have to worry about it or suffer from it or be bothered by it at all. You are not the authority on my community. Total strangers don't get to micromanage my sense of community. I can do that for myself. I can decide who I want in my community. It's free association. I don't need a third party helping me with this. I think these are people that they're either into femdom, they have mother complexes, they're crypto authoritarians. Something is, there's some kind of enmeshment with this idea of a authority figure outside of the existing legal channels that they find comforting or that they desire for some reason. For me, as a classical liberal, a Satanist, an autistic person, a Cajun, an anti-authoritarian, every fiber of my being bristles at somebody trying to take that role in my life or that kind of authority over me. It's never going to get a good reaction. Hey, Blind, what's up? How you been? All right, let's hear the cons, the arguments. Oh, okay, wait. He did two sets of pros and cons. There's pros and cons for supporting Karens and pros and cons for opposing them. The cons for supporting them. Overreach and misjudgment. Karens may enforce norms in situations where their understanding is flawed, leading to unnecessary conflict or injustice. Right. Mainly with me. If they try to enforce norms that they arbitrarily take it upon themselves to enforce and decide should be a norm for me, and I don't consent to that, it will lead to conflict. So they can avoid the unnecessary conflict by leaving me alone. Cultural insensitivity. They can impose norms rooted in specific cultural or personal biases that don't account for diversity in behavior or value. Right. Anglo-Saxon norms being enforced on Cajun people, neurotypical norms being enforced on neurodivergent people. All of this. It's ignorance, it's poor boundaries, it's overreach, it's everything this AI is saying right here. Number 3, authoritarianism. The behavior can cross into controlling or oppressive territory, undermining individual freedoms and autonomy. That's what surprised me about these conversations lately, is they're coming from all the same people that were all against wokeness back in 2020. That's how I met a lot of them, and they ended up on my Twitter in the first place. And all of a sudden, they're anti-woke, but they're pro-Karen. That cognitive dissonance is absolutely short-circuiting my brain. I cannot figure out how these people can have both positions at the same time. It seems unprincipled. There seems to be a larger principle besides just being against wokeness that they actually value more than the oppression that comes from wokeness. They just want their version of it. And number 4, hostility and escalation. Confrontations often escalate tensions, potentially leading to harm rather than resolution. Yeah, it does. You see it happen here all the time. That's one reason I don't do that. I'm not a Karen. I leave grown people alone. I don't try to tell them how to live. All right, let's hear the arguments opposing Karens, which would be my side. Personal freedom. A society with fewer Karens allows individuals to live with greater autonomy without fear of unsolicited judgment or interference. Yes, that sounds like the normal, what the normal standard for um, a classical liberal society, as I understand it, is this right here: being allowed to live with greater autonomy without fear of unsolicited. I don't care if they judge me. If they can judge all they want. I don't care about that. It's the interference, without unsolicited interference. Hang on, I'm going to post this on Twitter. Um, and I'm going to see if I can get anybody from Twitter to come on and talk about it. I could probably do an entire channel related to Karens. This topic seems to come up over and over and over. Hang on one sec. Okay, this person's telling me I got it all wrong. Let's see, if you lit a cigarette in a restaurant, the other patrons would say something. That's not, I don't consider that a Karen. I don't consider the patrons in a restaurant telling you not to smoke in the non-smoking section a Karen. You'd be asked to leave by the staff. Right, it's the staff's job to enforce that. It's possible that you would refuse, in which case the police would be called. Right. So I don't know why this guy's saying I got it wrong, because I agree with what he's posting. Note that in practice, the rules prohibiting smoking in restaurants do not generate large numbers of arrests. Anti-smoking laws are not a major driver of mass incorporation. I don't understand his point at all. Hang on. All right, back to AI. So personal freedom. Here, look at number 2, neurodivergence and inclusivity. Many autistic individuals are those with differing social norms may feel safer in an environment where others don't police unspoken rules. I would replace the word safety. I'd say more comfortable being themselves. I don't see it as a safety, harm, danger thing. Yes, yes, they're gatekeeping they're filtering out a certain segment of the population to try to keep their little turf or territory at a certain norm, which not everybody agreed to that norm. And I think that's illiberal, again. Decentralized responsibility, relying on official channels, law enforcement, customer service, etc., to address issues reduces the risk associated with untrained or biased individuals acting. Right, let the proper people. What's the purpose of having proper channels that we as a society vest with that kind of authority if we're not going to let them play that role? If like anybody can just step into that role whenever they want, what's the purpose of having actual official roles that serve that function? And tolerance and pluralism. Minimizing Karen-like behavior encourages a culture of understanding and acceptance for differing perspectives and ways of... Right, yes. I find Karen some of the most intolerant individuals in our society. In a liberal society, they are some of the more intolerant members of that society. And I oppose them for that reason as well. All right, let's see. But Philip, that would be a law. If nudity is not allowed in a public area, there would be a law against it. If there's not a law against it, then it is allowed. Just because you don't like seeing naked people in the areas where it's legal, they have the right to walk around naked, and you should not have the right to override that right. All right, the cons against the Karen argument. Erosion of norms. Without informal enforcement, some people worry that societal standards might erode, leading to more chaos or less respect for shared spaces. I don't see how that's not already covered by existing laws. What's the difference between a norm and a law? I mean, we call them normies for a reason. But they don't get to decide the standards for everybody else. That's why normie is kind of a pejorative term. Or it has a pejorative connotation to it. Increased dependency, relying solely on authorities for norm enforcement could result in a slower response to minor yet significant infractions. Well, that's a law enforcement problem. That doesn't mean citizens get to step in and be this vigilante arm of law enforcement. I don't think vigilante justice is a sign of a healthy liberal society. And loss of community accountability. If individuals don't feel empowered to address small-scale issues, communities might lose a sense of shared responsibilities. Communities are not obligated to have a sense of shared responsibility. If it doesn't emerge organically and naturally, then that's just a sign of the health or dysfunction of that community. You can't fake engineer this stuff. You have a bigger problem going on with your community than just these norms not being enforced. And I don't care about people's feelings. So people not feeling empowered means nothing to me. That's on them. All right, my perspective as a classical liberal anti-authoritarian. Your concern likely stems from several factors. Individual autonomy. Classical liberalism values personal freedom, so the idea of self-appointed enforcers dictating norms may feel like an infringement. Yes. Yes. Distrust of authority. I don't have a distrust of legitimate authority. It's people that try to assume an authority that they're not entitled to that I distrust. I distrust their motive for assuming an authority that I did not consent to them having. Anti-authoritarianism often resists informal or formal hierarchies that impose rules without consent or understanding. That's exactly what I just said. And neurodivergence, as somebody autistic, unspoken social norms might feel arbitrary or exclusionary, and enforcing them without clear communication can seem unjust. Yeah. Potential middle ground. Ah, okay. Focus on dialogue. That's what I said. In a liberal society, that should be the go-to solution, not Karenism, but open dialogue. Encouraging open communication between equals, encouraging open communication rather than confrontation may address issues without escalating them. This is so much common sense to me. Like, why don't Karens know this? Set boundaries. Karens could be encouraged to reflect on whether the behavior respects others' autonomy and diversity. I have no problem setting a boundary with Karens. I do all the time. Empathy and education, promoting understanding of neurodivergence and differing perspectives might reduce unnecessary policing of it. Doesn't. I've given up on that. I've spent years and years and years trying to do that and educate people on that, and it doesn't work, and they don't listen. This is not a solution. The issue ultimately revolves around finding a balance between community cohesion and respect for individual differences. You don't get to decide the cohesiveness of the larger society. You can do it in your own little personal community, but you don't get to do it for my community. Anyway, that's what the AI has to say. Liberals don't allow personal freedom. But they do allow personal freedom. That's pretty much the essence of liberalism. As long as it's not encroaching on somebody else's freedom. You know, Philip, you don't have to care about my feelings. I don't expect that. I don't know where you got that from. I'm fine if you don't care about my feelings. I have never seen a Karen ask nice. You have to show me examples of that. And besides, nice is subjective. I've never had a Karen come across as nice to me. Oh, hang on. I'm gonna post this on social media and see if I can get a panel to form. All right, we don't have to talk about Karens. That's just one topic. But if we did have a panel, that's one possible topic. All right, I guess that's good. If I'm not doing something illegal, people can ask as nicely as they want. I'm not obligated to stop doing it. That's somebody trying to get me to do something they want me to do that I'm perfectly allowed to do within the limits of the law. They're trying to enforce an extra set of rules that they think I should live by, but I'm not obligated legally to live by. That's encroachment to me. That you have wondered why workplaces don't just to you because they don't. I don't know. It looks like there's a word missing, or a word or two. Hello, Sean. Is your mic working?
Hello? Yeah.
Hello?
Is it working? Hello?
Yeah, it seems to be.
Well, hello. I guess
Hello,
my
what's
phone,
up? Finally,
works
we get
now.
to talk
I
to you.
didn't- Yeah. My name is We Are So Fucked on your chat.
You think so?
Yeah. But I try and keep it nice, fun. Well, we still can. So what were you talking about there? I wasn't really listening. I just
Oh, I was just
calling
talking about
there.
Karen. I was just talking about Karens. There's a Twitter debate that keeps showing up about Karen. Like, people are very pro Karen. They think that they're a necessary part of society, and I don't. I think they're a
Karen.
nuisance. Yeah,
Karens. I mean, like,
according to a Karen is individuals who assertively or sometimes aggressively enforce perceived norms or expectations in public.
yeah,
Do
they're
y'all
usually
have them over
the
there? Maybe you
woman.
don't have them in Ireland.
Well, there's less of us. Like, there's only like 5 million of us. So,
So there's a lower
but yeah, I
Karen
mean, you
to
probably have like
civilian
loads of
ratio.
crazy people. Like America, I'd say America has like way more high percentage of cray cray in America.
Than even Ireland. So what's going on with you? Oh, Philip, that's a great example. The skateboarders. You're right. I was part of. I wasn't a skateboarder myself, but I hung out with the skater punks, so I was kind of on the periphery of that culture. And skateboarders were constantly getting harassed by people. For now, sometimes they were breaking. They weren't supposed to be skating where they were skating, and sometimes even had signs telling them that. But in the situations where that wasn't the case, people should just leave them alone. They're not hurting you. They're not hurting anybody by skating wherever they're skating, as long as they're allowed to skate there.
Like they should make a Karen party, like a party for assholes, and they just name themselves assholes. That'll be actually called. That'll be based.
I think they have a Karen party. They just lost a major election. They lost the Senate, the House, and the presidency.
Who's the biggest Karen in the Democratic Party?
Oh God. I might nominate Hillary just because she's like the head Karen that a lot of them take their cues from. And she was the one making the argument against free speech. In fact, hang on, I have another video. I think I've played it before. But there's a lady talking about how the First Amendment is the biggest barrier to combating misinformation. Oh, I guess I didn't bookmark it. These people want more control over other people than the law currently allows, and they don't want to have to go through the legal process to get that control. I'm even thinking about the PMRC back in the 80s, the ones that wanted to sticker the music so that you would have to be a certain age to buy certain record albums because they had naughty words or subject matter that the Karens didn't approve of, even that kind of stuff. And they did find a way to eventually get the stickers on the records. But there was a lot of opposition back then from the music community to them.
Yeah, and they lost, I think. But what kind of Karen stuff is it mainly the DEI stuff, the sexual stuff? There's nothing. They're not trying to get rid of freedom, are they? The Democrats.
No, it could be anything. They just annoy you about little things that, like they had the one video I showed today was these people at a park, at like a state park, and they had a dog with them that was a service animal, and there was a Karen harassing them on the trail about how they're not supposed to have dogs, and they kept explaining to her that it's a service dog, we're allowed, and she kept trying to convince them not to have the dog. She should have just minded her own business and kept walking. They're busybodies. They interfere with individuals in a liberal society. They interfere with their ability to act freely, or they attempt to interfere with their ability to act freely and pursue their own happiness, because they have all these different opinions about what they should and shouldn't be doing that have nothing to do with what the actual laws are. And there's a lot of people that are supportive of this kind of informal policing of certain norms, and I'm completely against it. It seems illiberal. It seems to not take into account other norms outside of their one culture or their neurotypicality. That would be a problem, Philip. That would speak to the dysfunction of the police department, and then I would start using the accountability measures to troubleshoot the department itself and figure out why they're not addressing these noise complaints, and take the steps to get the department functioning again. Because that's a symptom of a larger problem with that particular community's police department. Fake service dogs are an issue. I used to work in disability, and this service animal question came up a lot. And there's very specific things you're allowed to ask and not ask, and there's very specific things that mark an animal as a service animal or not. And it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to tell who has the fake dogs or not. That's why, first of all, I would only do it if I was a staff. If I worked somewhere and I knew only service dogs were allowed, but not there's emotional support animals are not service dogs, so they don't qualify as service dogs. But some people have emotional support animals that they try to pass off as a service dog. A service dog is trained to do very specific things. So first of all, I would only do it as a staff. If I was a customer somewhere and somebody came in with a dog, I wouldn't even worry about it. That's not even my issue to address. I would, if it bothered me enough, if the dog was barking or acting up, I would go tell a staff. Why do I sound like a Karen? I'm not confronting anybody. I just said I would go tell the staff. I deliberately said I would not confront that person. I would leave them alone. I don't know how that makes me a Karen.
Yeah.
Let me look up the rules for service animals in the U.S. Because it's different in the UK. I remember getting in this debate on Twitter a year or so ago. And they were surprised to hear about how we do it in the U.S. because it was so different for them in the U.K.
Well, I know they're banning pit bulls in the UK or Ireland. They've banned pit bulls, some breed of pit bull. So that's kind of Karen-y.
Well, if they do it successfully through the legal process, I would almost argue that it's not Karen-y, that it's a legitimate expression of the will of the people. It would be Karen if an individual person took it on their own to start harassing somebody about their pit bull. Like, you shouldn't have that. You shouldn't have a pit bull. They're dangerous. And even though the law allows it, if they try to shame or guilt the person to not having it anyway, I would say that's Karen-y.
Yeah. I think autistic people should be in politics because they don't bullshit around. You know what I mean?
Maybe we need our own little vest we can wear so people will leave us alone. And it does say that a business or state and local government does not need to allow a service animal if the dog's presence would fundamentally alter the nature of the goods, services, programs, or activities provided to the public. And it gives example of operating rooms, burn units where it could compromise a sterile environment. So they have to show some kind of way where it would fundamentally change the nature of what the environment's there to provide. And you're allowed to ask if a dog is a service, if it's required because of a disability. And this is what you're allowed to ask to identify if it's a service dog. You can ask if it's required because of a disability. Is your animal required because of a disability? And what work or task has the dog been trained to perform? They don't have to actually demonstrate the task, but they can tell you what the task they've been trained for is, because they have to be trained for specific tasks. No, if the police didn't help me, I would go above the police department itself. That's not being a Karen. Using existing accountability mechanisms that are in place within the structure themselves, it's not being a Karen. I'm using the proper channels to address the issue with the police department. Right, there's already a process in place. That's where I said I would use is the process that is in place. I
Yeah,
was an
what do you think?
ombuds for several years. I used to do this for a living. I know what the processes are. I know how to find them, and I know how to use them. So I would definitely, if the police department was consistently not addressing noise complaints, then I would take it to the next layer higher of the police department, which is the proper channel to take it to. Now, I have no problem with maybe a public awareness campaign or going on social media and like to the police department's Twitter account or something and saying, "Hey, there's these noise complaints. Why are you not addressing them?" I think that raises public awareness, but that's not me harassing an individual person in public. That's me using their own official account to communicate with them.
Like, who's the biggest Karen in the Republican Party?
I don't
Trump.
know. Trump. I don't know. I don't associate the. I mean, I'm sure they have right wing Karens, but oh yeah, there's always. Let me tell you a secret when doing advocacy. No is never no. There's never a final no until it gets up to the Supreme Court. There's always, if you get one no, there's always a layer above that you can go. Always. And so if somebody slams a door and tries to make you think that that's it, that's final, it ends there, it never does. There's always some other layer of the process that you can access or invoke.
Whoa, that was fucking fast. Holy fuck. Like I have a magic
So,
key to the door.
Well,
What's
you
up, Jeff?
just, I don't know. I don't know
No,
how slow
all
it
I'm saying
normally
is like
is.
I no sooner hit enter studio, fucking I was up on panel. So
Oh,
I'm saying
really?
that was quick. Yeah, I hit enter studio and boom, here I was.
yeah,
Oh,
same with
maybe you
me.
got a good connection
You
today.
know,
Well, see, my
so like,
brother-in-law, he so the other day when I was in Bangor, right, this weekend, I was having an issue because where I was bouncing in and out of between LTE, 5G, and 5G ultra wide or whatever the fuck it is, and so I was having really shitty service because I was bouncing in between the three signals. So he goes, just go shut. He goes, shut your 5G off and just run straight LTE. And he goes, you won't have any issues. And sure enough, since I've switched over, I haven't had any connectivity issues.
So wait, you mean that you can you're not limited to 5G. You can switch it back. You can turn it off and switch it back to 4G.
Well, LTE, yeah, yeah. Because on my phone,
I need your phone.
Is that Mrs. Leggy?
I guess his emergency
oh, it's
there,
my
he
kid.
needed. Can you get internet in the sea? Yeah, you can. Probably can.
Oh,
In the fishing boat.
I think he's preoccupied.
You can probably get good internet in the sea. Dude, I heard
Sometimes
that the
he
Russian.
sometimes he
You
streams from his boat. He'll show us pictures of him out in the boat, but I don't know how far from shore he is.
Holy
Yeah.
fuck, that kid. Her and their fucking cell phones. I swear, I'm about. She's not getting another fucking cell phone if she lost this one.
That's your daughter?
Oh yeah. Dude, this year, 2024, dude, she's gone through fucking 3 iPhones and 2 fucking Android phones.
Wait, five phones in
She's
one
on her
year?
third Android, and I told her she fucks it up. She's not getting
How
another
does
phone.
someone go through 5 phones in one year?
Well, because she's a fucking 13-year-old kid that's active, and she fucking, dude.
Wait,
I
hang
mean,
on.
I
She's
asked the same
13 years
question.
old and she's
I
gone
asked the
through
same
five
question.
phones.
Listen. Not this summer, but the summer before, right? Because I told you she's in the scouts, right? So she was part of the first girls to go to the national Scout Jamboree in West Virginia, right? They also stopped it in Washington D.C. Right, Washington D.C. Next thing I know, I'm on the boat. I get this phone call. Right, it's a woman from D.C. She goes, "Hi, I have, I think your daughter's phone." I go, "Where did you find it?" She goes, "On the wall, on the Vietnam Memorial Wall." I go, "Or around that or whatever." I go, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah." So I get a hold of one of the kids that I know is with it. I go, "Where's your phone?" In my pocket. I go, "No, it's not." I go, "It's some lady has it." She wind up catching up to him at the Capitol, but in the Capitol building, but which I thought was nice. But yeah, yeah. It
Did you
trust
did
me.
she get it back? So she just keeps losing the phones,
Well, either losing them or breaking the screens or,
and you just keep giving her more phones.
well, the couple of them was insurance, and then I said, "Fuck that! I ain't paying no more insurance." And then yeah, a couple of them were cheap phones, and then like the two Androids ones, they were like two cheap Androids in between the iPhones.
Wow,
Yeah, trust me.
she
I dude, only
what a
reason
great
I ever
dad
got a
she
new
has, I
phone
guess.
is because I accidentally dropped my phone. Like that's the only reason. It's the only reason I ever switched from my 13 to a 15. So,
Is she a Karen child?
is she a what? A
Yeah, she
Karen? Oh,
yeah.
she can be a
Do
Karen.
Karens start young? Does she have Karen
Oh, she's a
tendencies?
Karen.
She
She's
is
a
a
Karen.
Karen.
Oh, she's a Karen. Oh, well,
Is your
something.
wife a Karen?
Uh,
Wow, how does a
depends.
13-year-old become a? How does one get to be a Karen so early?
Well, I mean, who the fuck knows in this society nowadays? It's like my my oldest daughter. She's a freshman in high school, and she had a girl come over to the house. I mean, we've known the girl since we've lived here, but the girl's never actually ever come over to our house. So, like, I've never really been around her, whatever. Well, next thing I know, like, some of the shit she was talking about, I'm like, what the fuck is this coming out of a 15-year-old's mouth? And then I get thinking, well, at 15, I knew quite a bit of shit at 15 myself. So, I mean, I guess I can't really see, I guess it's not odd, but it is odd now that I'm older. Like, you know what I mean? It's weird how, like, when you're 15, 16, you know a lot more than what your parents think you know, and the same thing now. It was just a weird,
Oh
it was
yeah,
just
we did
weird
too.
listening to them talk. I was just like, you realize there's a 4-year-old child in this fucking car, right? Like, come on.
What kind of stuff was she saying?
Oh,
Is he gonna get my
well,
stream
okay,
canceled?
Jeff, as a gay man, do you know what Dawkin is as a gay man?
Gawking?
No, Dawkin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So,
She
Dawkin,
was talking about docking.
oh yeah. I'm like, what the fuck is Dawkins? And then she explained it to me, and I go, how the fuck do you know that? Like, I'm just like, what the fuck? Some
No,
weird ass
girls.
shit.
I grew up with a lot of like my younger sister and all her friends, and believe me, they knew way more about all that stuff than any of the guys around, or even any of the adults.
Oh, dude, I tell you what, I was 15, and there was this girl. She moved here from New York, and she was 16, and and she had a car and shit, and I wind up dating her anyways. Well, that was my first real chaboo boo boo. Holy fuck! It was just like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just, I, I would just say the experience level, there was, I was lacking in that compared to her
Yeah,
at
no,
that time.
girls do. They're way more sophisticated at an earlier age than
Well,
guys, than
I
a lot of
remember,
adult guys.
being a 15-year-old kid at the time. Now, man, now I love fucking pussy. But at the time, it was like, fuck, I ain't putting my face down there. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? She goes, why? She goes, I suck your dick. And I'm like, whoa, yeah, yeah, you're supposed to. Like, because as a 15-year-old kid, I really didn't know much. Now, as a man, I've learned a thing or two. but,
Sean, do y'all have all that in Ireland? Anything like that? How are the
Oh,
dairy
come,
girls?
oh, come on. You
Karens?
gotta.
I mean, like, yeah, I mean, they say that narcissism is more popular nowadays with the internet and all that. So that's kind of Karen-y. But humans were always kind of Karen-y anyway. I
Yeah,
mean, that's how
I
you get
don't.
rich,
Yeah,
by
but I
being a
think,
Karen.
I think yes, but I think liberalism was kind of a evolution beyond that, and so I associate it with something like a pre-liberal mode of interacting with each other.
Like, it's
So
being
either they
spoiled
haven't
by
been
Karen.
completely acculturated to liberal norms, or they're rejecting liberal norms in favor of something more primitive.
Well, actually, there was a law that we were trying to pass. They were trying to pass there to police hate speech in the internet in Ireland. There, I think it didn't get passed, but that law would have been quite carny because it would have put people to jail for being bad in
For tweets,
online or something.
like
Do
they do
we
in
Yeah.
have
England.
Jeff? Don't we? Isn't there some laws though that in the United States over cyberbullying and shit though? Don't we have?
Yeah,
Because
but
like
it's
there was that
cyber. It's
case.
very specific things. It's not just a mean tweet.
Like Massachusetts, I know Massachusetts set a precedent when they convicted that young girl for telling because her boyfriend and him was texting back and forth and shit, and then he went to unalive himself, and she did anything but discourage it, and they held her as much her liable for his death. I do know that happened in Massachusetts.
It goes by state. There's some laws at the federal level, but each state has different laws for cyberbullying. No, not laws. You're trolling me now. I would look horrible with a stash, like a porn stash. I think I did it one. I think I did it like a year or so ago. I did a porn stash for like a
You
week.
need the Fu Manchu.
Yeah, I do a goatee much better. But I'm too late. It's a lot of upkeep. It's pure laziness. If I had motivation or reason to have groomed my face better, I would do it. But this is
Do you cut your
the
own
level of
hair?
grooming that works for me.
Do you cut your own hair? Because I know people
No.
that do.
I used to when I was a skinhead. I would just buzz it, but I can't do anything more complicated than that.
Did you ever have a beard?
Not a real one. I can't grow a real one. I end up shaving it off before it grows because I get too frustrated with it.
Here, Leggy, do you get a good internet in the sea? How far away can you go in the sea?
We go out about 25, 30 miles.
Ooh, that's
When
a
we
lot.
go.
You have internet the whole time?
Yes and no. Because at some point there's none, and then at some point you go over and you're bouncing off Canadian towers at one point. So
Can you use the can you make use of like the sonar that's under there
what do you mean?
to help you boost your signal or something?
I mean, we have a cell phone booster, but the issue is I have Spectrum Mobile, and the booster's only for U.S. Cellular and Verizon, so it does not work for or T-Mobile and Verizon, whatever. Either way, it doesn't work for
But
my
you don't really need a phone. I mean a phone out there. You're too busy
no. Yeah,
harvesting the lobsters.
yeah. That's why I stopped doing it because we're so far off now. And then when I switched to Spectrum, I don't get service out there enough to stream. So I gotta start recording shit and then editing it and uploading it afterwards. That's what I gotta do. So
Is there still lobsters? Like, is
well,
there
fuck
still
it.
loads of lobsters out there?
No, there's still lobster out there. The Canadians have it better than we do, though. Really. Like I'm thinking, with this size increase, only thing we're doing is giving lobsters to Canada in the long
Well,
run.
how do the lobsters know which side is
They
Canada and which
don't.
side is the U.S.?
They don't. But for some reason, well, they must because listen, this is no lie. You can ask any fisherman that fishes the line, right? You get a trawl that say half of it gets over that imaginary line onto the Canadian side. That half on the Canadian line is going to look 10 times better than this. Well, I'm not going to say 10 times. That might be exaggeration. But it is going to look better than on the United States side. Don't ask me why, but that is true. That is a kind of a true statement. But what I'm saying is, though, Canada, we're increasing our measure from 3 1/4 to 3 1/8, I think, is what we're going up to. So all them lobsters that we normally could keep, we can't keep no more. So now Canada can keep all of them. It's bad
Because
enough
their
Canada
laws are
can keep.
so they can keep bigger lobsters. It's not necessarily.
No, well, they can keep smaller and bigger starting next year. Right now, we can keep the same size lobster
But
up
do
to
you
five
have big
inches.
lobsters too? You just can't keep them, or do you
Yeah,
not even
yeah, we
have
can't.
them in
We
the
can't
first
after
place?
5 inches. We gotta. If the head's over 5 inches, we gotta throw them back,
Oh, okay.
like from the
So
eye
Canada
socket to
get
the
I guess
well.
back.
they're all
Y'all should.
integrating Canada. Big time.
Canada, Canada, Massachusetts, shit like that. There, they don't have a size limit, but state of Maine, we do. You can't keep for some reason. You can't keep them oversized males and
How
females
does that compete with Canada? It seems like.
because they can. And when you're fishing the same water as them, you get my point. You're fishing the same. You're fishing beside a Canadian boat. So when you're throwing them lobsters
I
over,
know it seems like Maine would want to change their laws to be more competitive with Canada instead of put Maine at a disadvantage.
I mean, as far as the size law goes, that's a national law. Because like what they
Oh, that's
did
not
is,
just Maine.
that, yeah, no, they increased it for everything. That's going to be the federal law now. It's three.
Maybe Trump will change that so
No, that
we
ain't gonna
can be
happen.
bigger than Canada. Bigger and
Well,
better.
no, it's not even that. It's the fact that I feel like so all these lobsters that let's say out of I don't know. That's just a lot of lobsters. You think about it really. Them 3 1/4. I mean, or right. That's just going to Canada. And they said them oversized ones are just going right to Canada. It's just
Yeah.
it's
It seems like the US would want to do something about that so they could
now
get to keep their share.
a lot of fishermen will take them oversized females and fucking V-notch them anyways, even if they don't have eggs on them. They'll fucking V-notch them because they're oversized here and you can't keep them. So we'll V-notch them so Canada can't keep them either. Because if
What
it's
does that do
V-notch,
to
nobody
them?
can keep it. If it's a female and it has a V-notch or a missing tail piece on that fin.
So you deliberately damage you
We
cripple the
don't.
lobsters so
No, you
Canada
don't
can't use
cripple.
them?
No, it don't cripple it. Because see, you're supposed to anyways. If it's an egger, right, or an oversized female, you are supposed to notch it before you put it back. Anyways, it's just a little nick out
Why?
of the tail because then you know it's a breeder, whatever. I go it's a
So
female, of
are
course.
you saying you fake notch lobsters so Canada can't use them?
No, we don't. Not on our boat because we go. What the fuck's the point of that? They're still going
But
to keep
some
them
people do.
anyways. Yeah, but some people do. There is fishermen out there that will. They'll fuck that lobster up somehow. So can't. It's a little bit less desirable for can.
Do they have lobster Karens that go around patrolling what kind of lobsters people have? Like, why do you have that lobster?
Well, I mean, there's wardens that can in the Coast Guard. The wardens in the Coast Guard have the right to check your catch if they want.
But like, if you're at a restaurant eating a lobster, you're not going to have a Karen harass you about eating the wrong kind of lobster.
No, no, because I mean,
That's good.
because it's not a federal law. So like, it's just a
I
state
thought you
law. As
said it
far as
was.
no, 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 no. So all right. So as far as the oversized part goes, that's just the main law. Because Massachusetts, New Hampshire can keep the oversized lobsters like Canada can. But
Oh yeah, that's what I asked. Like, why does Maine
but as
have
far as
a
the
law that puts
oversized,
them at
but as
such a
far as
disadvantage?
but now though, the federal level, they've changed the size to 3 1/8 or whatever it is. Because it's 3 1/4 now, and they've increased it, I believe, 1/4 inch. So yeah, and then they're gonna go, and then next year, so yeah, 2025 it goes up, and then the following year it goes up another 1/4 inch. So it's gonna be 3/8, 3 3/8 eventually. I believe that's what the measure's going to wind up being. So,
Yeah, vegans themselves can be kind of Karen-y too. That's another good example of a Karen. Is the vegans that try to harass everybody else about what they eat and try to make them feel bad or shame them or guilt them. I was a vegan for a few years, but I didn't care what anybody else ate. I just did it. It was my own personal choice. I didn't. It wasn't a moral issue that I felt the need to convince other people to do. But there are some vegans that are very militant about whether they won't even like sit at a table or go to a restaurant with you if you eat meat or cheese in front of them.
fuck that shit.
I follow Vegan Gains on YouTube. He's like a famous vegan YouTuber. He's like bodybuilder,
Are
and
you a
he's
vegan?
pro-Israel and pro-guns, and he's from
Yeah, I'm
Canada.
pro-Israel and pro-guns too. Are you a vegan?
But he's vegan. No, I try to eat less meat though. I know the environmental impacts and the
Oh, you should
ethical
enjoy
issues.
yourself.
So
You There's enough cows
yeah,
to
I try. No, I try to
go
eat
around still.
less of it, especially beef and dairy, because it's not good for the environment and your health. If you eat too much of that too, it's not good for your health.
I don't
Not laws.
understand
I don't.
why
Only
people
if I
say,
go and harass them would it make me a Karen. That Karen is a behavior, and it takes another person on the receiving end of that behavior. So me just sitting here complaining about him is not being a Karen.
well. I mean, Karen, my definition of Karen's anybody that complains about everything and everything.
Oh yeah,
Like, you know
that's
what I
not a
mean? That
Karen.
will find little fucking things to nitpick and whatever.
They
Or they
complain
go,
to other people in the hopes of enforcing their norm on somebody.
well, get this. We see my mother-in-law yesterday, right? My mother-in-law yesterday for one fucking minute, right? And in that, well, I mean, I guess it was like 5 minutes we were there, but still. Uh, in that 5 minutes, she had to bring up something about Trump. She goes, can you believe Trump's trying to get rid of all the special education programs in America? I
No,
go,
he's
now,
not.
I go, what the fuck news are you watching? I go, I go, first before the election, it was the fear of abortion and that he was putting our kids' lives in danger. I wrote for Trump was, and I'm like thinking, are you a fucking retard? That you are what's wrong with America? You are fear mongering to the fucking T. You hear something and you run with it.
What did she say? Where did she get that from? I haven't heard anything like that.
I haven't either. Who the fuck knows with her? She's just anti fucking Trump all the way. Trump could fucking go kiss a million fucking babies and give every fucking person $1,000 in America out of his own pocket, like walk up to him and hand it to him, you know what I mean? And she would still fucking say he's a piece of shit. Like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of other people would too, but I'm just saying, like, she just, dude,
Well, he got
everything.
his charges dropped. He's getting away with everything, so that's got to be
Well,
making some of them mad.
I mean, he could, I wonder, can he technically pardon himself?
Um, it's never been tested before. Probably not. But he's not going to have to because they're dropping the charges.
Well, no, but the New York ones, didn't they convict him of the New York ones? They just,
You
the
talking about the
sentencing,
sentencing thing?
he was waiting for the sentencing. That's going to
Yeah, I
get,
think they're postponing that or dropping it too.
what the fuck was I watching? I was watching something they were talking about that. And they said more likely than not, what will happen is, it's one of them things where it will go to a stay as far as his sentencing, and then eventually, more likely than not, it will just fucking disappear to
It's
the,
been indefinitely postponed.
yeah.
So they
So,
Is
probably
that
won't
because
bother with it at
they're
least the
scared of
next
the
4 years if they do it all.
No, because they're scared of Karen Trump. Karen Trump might kill him or arrest him.
What word, not loss? Sightseeing Karen.
so Sean, you're in fucking Ireland? Is that what
That's
Jeff
right.
said? You
Yeah, I
guys
think
No,
got
so.
I have a
You're in
lot
fucking.
of
Ireland,
family
right?
members.
You guys got
I
lobster
family
fishing in
members.
Ireland too, I hear.
Irish
Yeah, I
lobsters.
actually live next to the sea, and there's lobster fishermen near me.
Now they must use fucking the old. They must still use fucking wooden traps, don't they? Or do they use metal traps? Like, what do they use for? What is a
No, it's
what
plastic.
is
Because they're
an Irish
primitive.
lobster trap? What do they look like? I wonder.
They're not big like the ones in Alaska, but they're small, plastic,
Well, I mean,
metal
ours
things,
ain't big
whatever
like
they are.
Alaska either. The biggest ones most guys have are like 5 footers. They're like five by like 2.5, which is a big fucking trap, really, for a
No, we
lobster.
have
So.
those big ones. We have like small ones, 1 meter by meter and a half or two
Oh
meters.
yeah, you guys got like 3 footers. Yeah, probably wide box 3 footers if I had to imagine, had to guess. Which actually, if you're fucking just fishing around rocks and shit, anyways, them are the way to go. Fish singles like that. Cause my old captain, that's all he did, fish in the bay, and he fished a lot of them single wide 3 foot traps up around the rocks. And I tell you what, talk about some fucking big hard lobster. Holy fuck, dude,
Yeah,
dude.
lobsters can live for a long time. Can't they? You get big, don't
Yeah, they
they?
can live for like uh they can live to be at least 100.
Wow. I didn't know that.
I think Jacob Knowles caught one and he estimated it to be like 85, 90, something like that. I have caught we've caught them oversized ones there that have shell rot, and like some of them claws you can put your fucking hand right in their claw because like their claws rotted, like, because they haven't shed. Because after they get so big, they don't shed as often. You know what I mean? Like they might shed once every 4 years, 5 years, something like that. Once they get to a certain size, so they get fucking shell rot in them.
What do they eat mainly? Rotten. Film.
What do they eat? Is that what he asked?
I
Yeah.
don't
I
know.
mean, we feed them. Right now we've been baiting with pogies, redfish, and pig hide. That's what we've been baiting with. But herring, tuna, tuna heads, uh, monkfish, skate, uh,
What do they eat in the
bluefish.
wild? The lobster.
I mean, I imagine that they're scavengers, so they eat fucking anything and everything. Fish, if it swims by, they can grab it.
Eat seaweed or anything like that? They're mainly
I
carnivore.
don't know if they eat seaweed. I mean, I imagine they probably
Here,
do
I
eat
can look it
kelp
up.
too.
What do lobsters eat?
But like, I know they eat like other crustaceans. They'll eat themselves. They'll eat crab. They'll eat fucking clams and
They're
mussels and oysters.
omnivorous.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They
They
eat
fucking.
algae, sea urchins, shrimp, mussels.
I mean, they'll pretty much eat anything.
Yeah, it says it depends on what's in their environment.
I wanted to do a series of willet fish, but it seems like everybody does that, and I don't want to be a
Willet
copycat.
fish?
Yeah,
What is that?
willet fish. It's like you take random shit. People suggest random shit you put in the trap to see if it will fish. People do that all the time, though. So, so I want to try something different.
Ah,
So I'm thinking, how many different fishermen can try the same shit? Try a Big Mac or try
Human
a
waste.
fucking
Human
Whopper.
waste. Could you catch something with human waste? Probably could.
I don't know if you
Smell that.
could with shit or not. I'm not going to try that because I wouldn't want to eat the
well,
lobster
you said you wanted
afterwards.
something different.
Well, I'm not going to fucking shit in a pocket either. That'd be fucking a little bit gross.
In a what?
In a pocket? That's
A
that's what they
pocket?
call it. Bait pockets? Yeah,
Oh, okay. I didn't know. It was a technical term.
yeah.
Get a hard one in there. I mean, you need to get a hard shits. So last one.
Just go like to the dog park and
Yeah,
harvest
oh
some.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Just
I'm
collect
sure
my
people
dog
have
shit.
tried that before too.
Yeah, someone's
There's
telling me. Really, that's an interesting fact. I don't know why you know that, but that's an interesting
I don't know
fact for
anybody
sure.
allergic to cockroaches.
Well,
What internet IG? You talking about that chili dude from yesterday? What was the
chili.
auditor, whoever?
What about him? Was he up here on your panel?
No, I don't even know the dude at all.
You've
They
never
were just
seen
talking
him?
about. I,
Delete laws. You've never seen
we
him on
run in
YouTube?
completely different circles. There's
No, no,
no
no,
reason
dude.
I would
Even
be in that
before,
corner of YouTube.
like, if you've ever watched police videos ever, right?
I've
Usually
seen Joe Cool. That's
at
it.
some point, he will pop up in your algorithm. Cause
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't. I don't.
But yet, I've never come to a
I
panel.
used to watch Cops, the TV show Cops, but police
Everybody knows.
videos have never been an interest of mine. I'm just not into that into the police, nor do I have a reason to be.
He got his channel shut down, huh? Well, interesting. Yeah.
He was playing gay porn deliberately, or somebody porn bombed him. Why would he play gay porn?
I didn't even know he had open panels. As far as
That's
I know, he
weird.
just gets up there and runs his fucking mouth. Like at first I was that, but then I didn't like his style. Like I understand that you have certain rights, and yeah, you can technically walk up to a cop and say, "Hey, you're a fucking pig." I get that. I get that. But to deliberately stop on the side of the road and start harassing a cop just because you can, or quote in your mind, you can. That's kind of bullshit. That's just like somebody doing the fucking job and you just for no good reason want to go fuck with them. Like,
Yeah,
you know, like,
they're. But life is full of trolls. It's full of Karens and full of trolls. Oh yeah,
Do
they
you
were
need more
always filming in Broward
Karen?
County, and they filmed up here a lot in Pierce County too, where Tacoma is.
Do you think there's more Karens in this on our planet now than before? When you were younger, there was less Karens.
That we didn't have a lot of Karens where I don't come from a high Karen culture. We pretty much leave each other alone and we treat each other like adults. But I'd say there's a higher ratio of trolls to Karens, but there's a lot of Karen supporters or crypto Karens that empower. So when you have one Karen, you have a whole base of silent supporters that allow her to thrive. So it can be deceptive. The trolls, I think, are like you don't have a lot of troll supporters. They're kind of assuming that risk on their own and taking themselves out of ordinary society. But the Karens operate within it with this base of silent support.
Did you hear about that YouTuber who I forgot his name, but he went to South Korea there recently, mocking their culture and filming it for YouTube, and he got arrested. He got beat up by the South Koreans there.
By
oh
And
the
yeah,
by the
he's
government or
probably
like
he's
individual
probably the biggest
citizens.
Karen in YouTube right now. The
what the
biggest
fuck?
annoying YouTuber.
Some people like I don't understand it. How some of them their luck's gonna run out someday. It's like this.
They do it for clicks and content.
Well, there's this black dude in New York. He had a channel, and all of his shit was he'd be on the subway and he'd start harassing white people. Like that was all. That was his whole fucking stick. He would start calling white people crackers and shit, and like he would start a fucking like a racial fucking war type thing. Like you know what I mean? Like he would try to get people to say the N word or fucking use a racial slur. I'm just thinking, now what the fuck? Now ain't that fucked up?
It's content.
It's kind of like you know what got quiet that you didn't hear nothing about? What about that fucking Marine dude that was on the subway? He was, I mean, I guess ex-Marine, whatever. But there was this dude harassing that fucking one person or whatever, and he come up behind him and choked him out and killed him. That kind of like silenced in the media. Like I didn't hear
Oh, I
nothing about
vaguely
that.
remember that.
Like what was this, a year and a half, 2 years ago?
Yeah, I was in the news there recently. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
It's
it
quite
just
sad
happened
though.
in New York not that long ago. I don't know. I mean, maybe the dude held on too long, but at the same time I mean, if the initial dude wasn't running his fucking mouth and being a little prick, maybe he wouldn't have got choked out and shit. You know what I mean?
But again, we have laws for that. There's no reason to be choking somebody out for running their mouth.
What's that?
I said we already have laws for that. There's no reason to choke somebody out just for running their mouth.
Well, I think it was more like it was like physical, like pushing and like you know what I mean. I feel like it was against a woman possibly. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But yeah. I don't know. Some people say he shouldn't have got in trouble, and there's some people that say he should have. So
Oh, was it Jordan Neely?
no, I think it was this Daniel Penny, maybe.
Yeah, Jordan Neely was the victim. Put him in a chokehold.
There is a big YouTube world.
He faces up to 20 years in prison.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
And the
I
trial
can't.
the trial hasn't started yet. The opening statement started November 1st. So I guess it's happening now.
I gotta try to find it now. Because you know that's one of them trials that you think that somebody would be covering, but I didn't see. I haven't seen anybody cover it. So maybe it's one of them subjects nobody wants to touch.
Yeah, you know, because the black fella had mental health problems, and
The
the white guy
prosecution
just was
rests its
racist.
case.
Yeah, I mean, that is the world we live in, though. People have mental issues, and they're out and about running amok with the normal people, and with drugs. And then when you have drugs involved on top of it, and some people, I'm not saying that fellow was, but an instance when you have the mental issues, and then you become an addict, that just fucks with you even more. You know what I mean?
We've always had been in that kind of world. Not laws. People can have opinions. There's I don't know what you're asking here.
I don't know why
Careless
he
in
never
what
called
way?
in. He's being a Karen and not calling in.
Nalaz is a troll. He's more of a troll than a Karen. I never even know when to take him seriously. He's so much of a troll. He's the troll that constantly cries wolf.
Well, he don't come up on panels no more.
No, he no more. I don't know if he ever did.
I thought, yeah, when I first come up, I thought he'd come. Wasn't he? Yeah, he come up
He's
when I
never been on this one. Nalaz, have
maybe
you ever come up? I
maybe
don't
not.
remember
I
him on a
thought he did.
panel.
Maybe not. Maybe that's not who I thought he was, but I thought
No,
he
I
had
don't think
been.
he has in this panel.
Another trial that's kind of quiet down. You don't hear much about it. Is that fucking treehouse murder trial down in Florida? That fucking Tyrone Tucker or whatever. He fucking he was a pro se defendant. He defended himself and fucking got off with a mistrial. Like, you know
I
what I
don't
mean?
even know that one either.
So this shit's been going on since like 2017 or something like that. Apparently there was this murder in this like quote unquote tree house shack type thing in Florida somewheres. Uh, One dude got convicted of it. He didn't want to testify. The other dude that got convicted, he got out on as soon as he testified in the first trial. He was released. He was doing life in prison, but because he decided to testify, they reduced it and gave him time served. So pretty much the biggest argument about that was, well, wouldn't anybody say that somebody else did something if they knew they were going to get out on it? I know I would. If the defense says, hey, if all you gotta do is place him there, Mr. Tucker's there, guess what? I'll say anything the state had want
Well,
me
they're
to
not
say.
supposed to
I
lie.
get it.
You're not supposed to perjure yourself.
But people do it though.
Right, but
Criminals
there's
will fucking do it.
consequences if you get caught doing it. And
If you
no
get
law,
caught
like a
doing it.
lawyer should not be the one encouraging you to perjure.
But if the state's putting you up there though, you know what I mean? Like as long as you go with their narrative and you don't go against it, then most likely they're
Well,
not gonna
they don't.
charge you
That's
with
not how
perjury.
interrogation works. They don't give you a narrative and say this is what you go with. They ask you. They try to get your
What do you
actual
mean?
narrative
You
from
realize
you.
that when you go to testify, right? You go over your testimony beforehand, like what it
Right, but
cost
it's
you.
not testimony they give you, it's testimony
I
they elicit
understand that,
from you.
but they still going to tell you though in that plea deal, in that agreement that says for your cooperation against one whatever the individual's name is, and if your cooperation in testifying against said individual, you will be granted your release. That's how it would be. That's how it was worded because they showed the agreement in court. Like
I
you
know,
know what
but
I mean?
they're not telling you to make up the testimony.
I understand that, but they're telling you if you look, all we need you to do is testify against them, right? Even if it's a fucking lie, you're gonna testify against the fucking person
Well,
because like
if you choose to lie as part
I
of your
get what you're
testimony,
saying, Jeff. I
that's
get
on
what
you.
you're
You're
saying,
doing
but
something illegal at that point.
I get that, but most likely, if you're in jail for committing murder and robbery and theft and all that shit, you probably have pretty shitty morals to begin with. You know what I mean? If you can get out of jail, if you serving a life in prison, let's think about it. Most criminals, most career criminals, if they have a chance, if they're serving life in jail, they would try to do whatever they could to get the fuck out and say whatever the fuck they could. You know what I mean? They would take that chance.
It seems like that would be happening more often than it probably does. If it was such an easy pass to get out of jail, where all they have to do is lie.
Well, I mean, that's where you got to do. But I mean, you think about so in this particular case that I'm talking about, right? So this guy was a so the knife that supposed that they're pinning to Leroy, right? Tucker, or whatever the fuck his name. Yeah, Leroy Jerome Tucker. What they're pinning on him is the knife, right? Which is a dive knife, which is carried usually by a diver, right? That's just so. Let's fast forward. The guy that testified against it, right? And this is all shit that got brought up in trial, right? And used against him, like when in the counter in the by the defense when he cross-examined him, right? Well, aren't you an avid scuba diver? Yes. Do you or do you not have a large collection of knives? Yes. Have you ever met me before this evening? No. Like you know what I mean? So like the video, so they have a video footage where you can't even see anybody get out of the vehicle, but they're using that footage as evidence. It's like you can't even see the fucking people getting in and out of the vehicle. There's no you know what I mean? Like
I'm
so it's
not
kind of
following.
what do you mean? So
I have no idea what you're saying.
the state has a video, right? That shows that only ever shows two guys together. The guy that testified against the guy that I'm talking about, and the black fella that's already in jail, right? That's the only video and the only two people you ever see together. The video they're using that's saying the third person was there is a video that you see a truck pull up, you see the lights of a truck pull up, and then it's off camera. You hear a door shut and see the truck drive around and then come back later. Like, you know what I mean? So you don't actually see the individuals get out of the truck and see their face. What the only time on any camera you see that individual that testified that got out of jail for testifying, and you see the black man that refused to testify. And
I can't follow because I don't know what any of this is. Like, I don't know what the video was or what I can't picture any of it in my head. That's what's losing me.
Is
okay,
this a
okay.
famous crime case?
The Treehouse
I've never
murder
heard of
trial
it.
in Florida. It happened beginning of this year. Fucking dude said defended himself pro se. Pretty much they're saying that this guy, yeah, it's a big fucking fucked up deal. And the sad part is this dude was like a bum type deal, right? He's now this Tucker dude married the woman that found it CrossFit. That CrossFit fucking program and shit that's all over the country. Yeah. He's married to the woman that started that. So he's married to a millionaire. And he was
It
living
Oh
in
said it
wow.
was a
Washington. Matter of
mistrial.
fact, he was living in Washington, Oregon or Washington State, one of them two states. And they fucking because he didn't do his piss test in time like he was supposed to. Florida revoked his bail, and now he's sitting in jail until they decide to do the retrial, whenever the fuck they decide to do that. I go, ain't that fucked up?
Yeah, I don't follow this. I guess I don't follow a lot of these cases. Criminals don't interest me for some reason.
But anyways, in my mind, it's not that far-fetched stuff. If you're a fucked up individual to commit a robbery and murder, you're a fucked up individual that would lie to get your ass out of jail, most likely or not. That's
But
just
it
my
seems like
opinion.
there would be more people doing that if it was that easy.
People do
Like
do
they
it all
got to
the
have
time.
some kind of check or balance to make sure that people are not
I
just
mean,
lying
they
to get
probably
themselves
do,
out of
but
jail.
he was there and he was already convicted of it. So he's already placed there, right? And they're convinced there was a third person. So that's the third person. Even though the live victim at the time, she's passed away now from COPD, but the live victim, she testified and said that, no, I know this individual. This is not the man that was there that night. Talking about Tucker, right? Said, no, Tucker was not there. But yet, it's just a fucked up deal. The state, if you actually watch that trial and see how little evidence the state truly had, you'd be like, what the fuck? Almost kind of like the Karen Reed trial in fucking, in, in Massachusetts. Like,
I don't know that one either.
well, it's where she supposedly hit her boyfriend, John O'Keefe. He was a Boston police officer, or a police officer in Mass. I believe he was Boston, uh, or Cannon PD, one of the two. It happened in Cannon, and essentially they pinned it on her, saying that they got into a fight. She hit him with the car drunk, and then left him over. Then tried to play it like she didn't know. It was all circumstantial evidence. There was nothing that was a nail in the coffin. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was a circumstantial case. There was no hard physical evidence with that one. That was
Well,
also
some
on this trial.
yeah, but sometimes circumstantial is enough. Oh, hey, Ninja! I saw that Benjamin moved his. Why is he streaming at my 1 o'clock time slot now? We used to compete for the noon slot, and I moved mine to 1, and then he moves his to 1. Tell him to stop copying me.
Who?
Benjamin Boyce.
I don't even know who the fuck that is.
Well, like I said, we run in different circles because I don't know any of these people you're talking about either.
Well, I mean, the people I'm talking about are criminals. They're not on fucking YouTube. I
There
mean,
you go.
Leroy was on YouTube, but
How many
Have you been
channels
arrested
open
before? Have you
car
been a
channels
criminal?
are
who?
You.
I've been to jail one time in my life, sir.
For what?
One. Well, it was technically an unpaid fine for me punching a dude in the face. Is what it was. It was an assault
Okay,
charge that I
how
didn't
was
pay.
this in high school or adult yet?
No, I was like 20, 22.
Were you sober?
Oh yeah, I was completely sober. Dude owed me money. He crashed my car and he owed me fucking money. He took my car. He took my car. He thought it'd be funny, right? I was at a friend's house, right? And this guy, I knew him, but I wasn't friends with him. He was just somebody I knew from my friend. But I didn't like the fucking guy. I thought he was a fucking piece of shit. Well, I come in. He goes, dude, I gotta go to the store, and got in my fucking car and took off. Right? I was pissed. So I was like, when he
Wait,
gets back,
how did he have access to your car?
because I pulled into my buddy's house for a second. I wasn't planning on fucking staying. And I fucking got the fuck out, and he fucking...
But how doesn't he need your keys to?
Dude, this is Maine. We fucking go in fucking Walmart and leave our cars running around here, so...
Wait, you left your car running? You left the keys in it and the car running, and
Yes, because I pulled
he
into my
jumps in the
friend's house.
car.
Because I pulled into my friend's house, yes. Yes. It isn't... People
You
don't get
should have
their
punched
cars...
yourself in the face. That was dumb.
So, what do you mean, dumb? I've
To
never
leave.
had it happen ever before... Before that or after that. It's the only time in my life. Because
All
the
right,
fuck... He,
so you're at
he
your
thought it would
friend's,
be
the
fun.
car's running, and this
there's no
other guy
profit
runs
made.
off and
He
jumps in
thought
your
it would be
car.
funny. He thought it'd be funny to take the fucking car and go to the fucking store, right? He just thought, I
Well,
don't know what the fuck kid thought. He thought, and I just go,
yeah, I
what the
don't
fuck
either.
are you doing? I go, so I called him. I go, when you get back, I'm gonna fucking whoop your ass. Well, that meantime, I started taking off down the fucking road. Well, Bangor PD was driving up the road to come get me. Because Because I'd called fucking Bangor PD because I was like, fuck that shit. Because I go, no, this fucking moron, he's going to do something stupid. Sure enough, he took my car, he fucking plowed it back into the fucking side of a store, caved the whole fucking wall in. I go, you
Who
fuck.
is this guy? He
No
sounds
wonder he bunked him.
crazy. He stole your car and crashed it into a store?
Wow, that was weird.
It was.
I'm,
Wait,
I'm mid sentence and boom, gone. Anyways, yeah.
he
Anyways, he
stole your
plowed in
car and
something.
crashed it into a store?
Oh yeah, dude, I was pissed.
No, I'm not frustrated. That was dumb. I don't have to be frustrated to identify that as dumb.
Dude, I was
That's
fucking
not out of
absolutely close to
frustration.
the pit.
Yeah, I'd be pissed too, but who is this guy? Like, he sounds crazy.
Well,
Was he
he
on
wind up
something?
he wind up going to jail eventually in his lifetime afterwards for because he assaulted a homeless individual for $20 and with a hammer. So he's in jail for like fucking 30 years because of it. But he's a piece of shit. Anyways, and long story short is it's just he was there and he thought it would be funny to take my fucking car. He's like, hey, can I take? No, you're not taking my fucking car. And he took it fucking. You know what I mean? He got into it before I could fucking really stop him. So.
That's nuts that
Oh,
somebody would do
he got in
that. Just
trouble with
get into
everything. He got in
somebody's
trouble for that
car
too.
and drive it off after they just told you not to do that.
Oh, dude.
So then you got on the phone
I
and
didn't give a
called the
fuck.
police, but he had
Yeah.
already crashed it into the store by that time?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. By the time I finally, because I tried to call him for fucking like 45 minutes, right? Because I was walking down the road, in the direction he was going to the store. He said, I'm walking up fucking the city, fucking walking up the fucking road. I'm like, so I'm on the phone, fucking freaking the fuck out, and the cop. I was friends with this particular cop, anyways, that showed up, and he was like, "Hey, your car's up here at the fucking Freshies." He goes, "Dumb fuck took your car and crashed it." I go, "Are you serious?" He goes, "As serious as can be, buddy." He goes, "You're in a pickle here." He goes, "Cause he's not a licensed driver." I go, "Well," I go, "He's gonna pay for it one way or another." And said, "Fucking." He owed me money and he didn't pay me when he was supposed to, so he caught a fucking fist. The only thing that happened is I did it on the side of the fucking road where all these people could see it and someone called the cops.
Okay,
And
some more
I
dumb.
got caught.
See, Philip, it's justified. So this wasn't the day it happened. Like, you waited for him to pay you and then he didn't. But
He didn't pay me, yeah.
what did he get arrested? Did it end up in court? It seems like it would end up in
Oh,
some
he got
kind of legal
arrested.
process.
He got arrested. He got arrested for it. But he only did fucking a week in jail, like, you know what I
For
mean?
crashing your car inside of the store. Did the store press charges?
Is he
No.
special
No.
needs or something?
Because
Was he sober?
well, he might be special needs. Who the fuck knows with him too?
But did he legally owe you money? Like, was there damages that he legally owed you,
Of
or
course
you
he
just
legally owed me.
decided that he owed you?
He owed me money because he crashed my car into the fucking building. Like, you know what I mean? I had to fucking
Right, but
replace the
that
whole
usually
fucking.
goes through a legal process.
Well, I understand that,
That a
but
judge, or so they determine how
I
much he owes you.
understand that, but in real world though, two men can also have a conversation, and
Well,
one can be
that's
like, "Oh
vigilante
God,
justice. That's what this
I
was.
fucked up. I owe you money. I'll pay you by this date.
Does this
Have a
seem like the
handshake deal
type
with
of
it."
guy that's going to honor that system?
Well, I gave everybody the benefit of the doubt at one time. I give them one
That
chance.
doubt
If you
should have
don't do,
ended the minute he hopped behind the wheel of your car. But
well,
did your insurance do anything? Did you have to report it to them?
yeah. They wind up. I don't know what the fuck. I had to pay whatever the fuck to get the car fixed. I think that's what it was, the deductible. So, and then I had to pay for the fucking cooler. So.
And so you beat him up on the side of the road in front of everybody else, and the cops came and got you.
Well, no, like literally, I punched him in his fucking, just punched him in his fucking nose and walked off. And someone seen the assault and fucking called the cops. Whatever,
A
cop showed
Karen.
up. Cop showed up. I was like, they go, "Did you do it?" I go, "I don't know." "Did I do it?" They go, "Well, there's about 5 people that say you did, and his nose is broken and his glasses." I go, Well, I go do what you have to do. So they go, well, we don't have no real proof or you be going to jail. So here's your fine. So I got the fine.
Oh wait,
Was
so
he
you
But
drunk?
didn't even you didn't actually go to jail?
no, I didn't go to jail for the assault. I just had to get a fine because I never got in trouble before that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was the first time I ever got in trouble criminally, ever. So, like, anyways, they gave me
Was
my
he drunk?
ticket
Cause like,
and I went to court and
why
I,
would he crash? Was he drunk?
where did he?
Like, why would he crash at a shop?
Well, because he didn't know, I don't think he knew how to drive. I mean, the
So
kid was only 17. I mean, I was 18 and the kid
Right.
was 17. So I don't think
and
he
he
knew how
he
to drive.
didn't know how to drive, so he got behind the wheel of some stranger's car, not knowing how to drive.
I mean, I think that's what it was. He couldn't have known what the fuck he was doing because he backed into the fucking building. Like, you know what I mean? I'm thinking, how the
Why
fuck
would
did he
he
back?
even get in your car if he? That's
Because he's
the
a fucking. Because the kid was a fucking moron. Some people think that's fucking funny and cute to do that shit.
to try to drive somebody else's car, which you don't would that you don't even know how to drive.
Well, I mean, I
Yeah, the
would
kids
probably.
sound. I don't know.
I mean,
Maine
I
is.
don't know
I
for
thought
sure if he knew
Louisiana
how
was
to drive
bad.
or not. I'm just saying he must not have. In order for him to fucking instead of putting the car in drive, he put it in reverse. You know what I mean? Or he couldn't read one of the two. He didn't know the difference between a P and an R. So I know he likes to
Is
put
Maine
the P
a
in
crazy
his
place?
R, but
Well, and the fact that he was 17 means he was a juvenile.
yeah, yeah.
Wow,
That's why
Is
he
Maine
didn't
a
get
safe
really
place?
fucking. Well,
that's
he
some
got like a
Maine
slap on the wrist.
justice.
But he also had a juvenile record, so that's why it wasn't just like a slap on the wrist
I knew there
and
was
a
more to this
fine. It was a
story.
slap on the wrist. Yeah, yeah, like him himself. That's why I said I never really liked the fucking kid. He was a fucking dude. He was a fucking piece of shit.
He sounds like it.
Dude, I stopped hanging out with that group of kids anyways
I
a
definitely
long
would have
time
turned
ago.
my car off and kept the
But
keys with me if I saw him at the house.
well, it's like fuck, dude. I watched that live PD in like in South Carolina. They go in to the people go in the store, leave the car, and the cops will show up. Fucking, there's a
I
law
can't
against it.
like I'm from a very tiny town in the south where we don't lock our doors. My mom even gets irritated when I lock the car door. But nobody leaves their keys in the car with the car running.
Fuck, dude, fucking people go in the store, sit down, have breakfast, leave the fucking car running the whole time. I mean,
Well, there's some personal responsibility involved here.
down here where I live now, you definitely don't have to fucking worry about it.
There's not
Now,
much
a couple
crime then
years ago,
in
though,
Maine.
there was a fucking a 20-something-year-old kid that decided he got drunk and he decided he wanted to take his grandfather's truck for a joyride. Just he fucking plowed over the fence in the cemetery and all this shit. Well, one of the fucking fishermen up here fucking seen him, right? Once he got to the cemetery, right, and he got stuck up against the tree at the pole and the tree at the cemetery. Goes in, opens the door, looks right at him, goes, "What the fuck are you thinking?" Right? Reaches in, fucking puts that tracking pack and snatches him the fuck out. He goes, "Now look," he goes, "we have one or two choices here." He goes, "You can either go the fuck home and sober the fuck up, and you can own up to the town in the morning," because the guy was a town selectman. He goes, "And or," he goes, we can call the fucking cops tonight and deal with it." And he goes, "It probably ain't," he goes, "but I'm gonna give you the choice." Kid was smart. He took the fucking, "I'm gonna show up in the morning and to the town office and talk to the selectmen." So he come to agreement with the town to repay, you know, to reimburse the town, and he did.
Yeah, see, I don't think Karens could do anything about any of this. So those of you that think there's a role for Karens in this, there's we have law
Look.
enforcement for a reason.
Yeah, but law enforcement
Yeah,
are Karens too, so
I feel
So
though that there is certain instances where two men can take care of an issue by a good old throwdown. You know what I mean? Mutual combat. There's no ands or buts about it. Like when me and my captain got into it, dude, there a couple weeks ago. Dude, I tell you what, we got into that fucking pissing contest and got into that fight. Dude, after since then, both of us, it's like a whole weight's been lifted off your shoulders. Like the stress. I don't know how to explain it. But if you've
Like
ever
Fight
been in,
Club.
like, if you've ever been like stressed the fuck out and then blow your gasket and then been in a fight afterwards and then you feel that sense of that, I'm telling you, dude, it was
It
something
goes
about
by
it.
state. Some states have dueling laws, and some don't. I think Washington's one
When
of them. Let me look.
you're still allowed to duel in some states.
Hmm.
Well,
What?
mutual combat. I don't know
Oh,
necessarily.
Washington and Texas. Those are the two states. Texas has mutual combat. Um, they have. Here's the law. They have to do it under the watchful eye of a police officer. And Texas law also lets you carry swords in public. Mutual combat becomes illegal under Texas law if one of the participants is seriously injured. And it says hopefully the police officer would step in before this point. The
Well,
only
hold up
exception
here.
is if the participants are fighting as part of their occupation or, get this, as part of a medical experiment.
I don't
Wow.
know. I
Let me look at
know.
the Washington law.
I know down here that we have a in the summertime. There's an annual pig roast that's been going on for like fucking 40 years, right? And last few years they've brought in a boxing ring and they do the fucking them fucking boxing fucking matches and they don't have no weight classes. Like after a certain point, there is no weight classes. So you got dudes that are my size fucking fighting dudes that are fucking like 300 pounds. I'm like, holy fuck, ain't that a fucking mismatch?
Washington's the same way. You have to get a police officer to agree to referee, and they're not obligated to. So Leggy, what you're saying about their situations where men should be able to work it out on their own, apparently the law disagrees
Well, that's just
in
because
most
people.
states,
That's
unless
because
you can get a
people.
police officer in one of those two states to referee it for you.
All I know is in the state of Maine, as long as the other person isn't seriously injured and the other person doesn't want to file charges, you're usually golden.
Well, you putting a lot on that other
Unless
person
it's a
not to file
domestic.
charges.
If it's a domestic, as I said, I know them motherfuckers here. They because of that shit that happened
So you don't.
20 plus
It
years ago.
doesn't sound very civilized. Like it seems like a more like a Bronze Age type of society rather than the modern United States. If Fight Club is the way to handle your disputes.
No, I'm not saying fucking everybody does it now. I'm just saying, like,
But
I still feel like there is some instances where that would be acceptable. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Two men should be able to, if they
well, that
have a
kind of makes you an
disagreement,
outlaw.
they should be able to fucking go duke it the fuck out, fucking work the fucking issues out, and then afterwards, if they
Yeah,
choose
but
to
we
go have,
could. The people have decided that's not the case. That they should not be able to do that.
okay,
So
I understand that if the majority of the people don't want to be involved in it, but if there's two individuals that want to, the fuck, it'd be like if me and Mike Cerrone wanted to fucking meet up and fucking duke it out. What the fuck business would it be for anybody else? Like
well,
ultimately, you know what I mean?
according to the
Just saying.
law, it would be illegal.
I mean,
Like even if you both agree to it, the law doesn't allow you to do that. But don't they have this internet site where people can challenge people to fights and make videos to challenge them? Because some people in the Panelverse were doing that a while back. There's like a whole website where you
Yeah,
can make a video challenging somebody to come and fight you.
yeah, we have bare knuckle fighting, illegal fighting. Like travelers do that a lot. Bare knuckle fighting, but they're legal fights. Like, but yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it
there's a
happens.
guy here in
Like, but
town.
it's
He
not.
does that shit. He's never won a fight, but he is a professional fighter. Never won a fight, but he's a professional fighter. I'll give it to him.
That's
Fucking
I
like
don't know
0
what
and
to say.
14, maybe 1 and 14. He might have a 1 and 14 record. I just I just look at him and go, "What the fuck are you doing?" I mean, I commend you for having balls getting in the ring with somebody, but his last fight I watched, he went all the way to fucking Kansas for this fight, and I'm looking at the fucking dude he's fighting, and it's like, holy fuck, dude! Like, what are you thinking? This guy's jacked. And you're fucking like this fucking white dude. Yeah, you're in pretty good shape for a fucking 40-year-old man, but this dude's 27 and fucking shredded like a fucking bodybuilder. Like, what the fuck are you doing in that ring with him? Like, come on. Sure enough, he got in there and he second. I watched the fight. And my buddy there, he went to throw a punch and he second guessed it and he pulled back instead of throwing it. And as soon as he pulled back, that guy capitalized and co-cocked him, knocked him the fuck out. I go, what were you doing? I go, if you would have hit him, you would have had him. No, he wouldn't have, but I still wanted to say, if you would have hit him, you wouldn't have got knocked out right then and there.
Why would you even want to take on that risk? You don't know how the fight's going to turn out.
Well, he made he made 10 grand, so.
No, I mean you. These situations you're talking about where two men should be able to just fight it out. That seems very risky for both parties.
Well, it'll get rid of a lot of people in jail. If people could like fight physically, and like they get like for small crimes. No, maybe not.
Hayes, it's Jello wrestling.
Look, all I gotta say
Yeah,
is
y'all could Jello wrestle, Leggy. There you go.
Jello wrestling. Yeah, no. This ain't fucking 1997 WWE with fucking Sable and
I didn't
fucking
realize you were
Troy
that
Wilson.
violent. I can't. That's not my first impulse. Is let's go
What? No,
fight it
I mean
out.
I'm a pretty passive person. It takes a lot to get me to that point, but I am not afraid if it comes down
Doesn't
to it.
sound like it.
I'm not afraid to fucking swing. That's my point. Like if I have to
Well,
swing, I will swing.
that can get you in trouble, I guess.
I mean, I know. That's why the older I get, I don't do it. Like that when I get into it with my captain, that's the first fucking like physical altercation I've been with somebody probably in fucking
Well, your
8 years.
boss. You have the urge
Yeah,
to
my
punch
boss
out
of
your
all people.
boss.
It was fun. It was funny too because he's like, "Punch me." No, I'm not punching you. Get out of my face. I'm not punching you. Punch me. No, I'm not punching you. Well, I forgot he had a bad tooth, and I just kind of like shoved him like down by like his shoulder throat area, and I caught his fucking bad tooth on his fucking right on in the fucking back of his jaw. I caught it when I pushed him away from me. Told, well, I did that. That's when he fucking swung at me, and I go, "You motherfucker!" And I just got behind him and choked him the fuck out and took him to the ground.
Man, that's a
Well, I
job
didn't
like I
choke
feel
him
like I
out,
wouldn't get
but I
fired
took him
from.
to the ground. I took him to the ground.
Well, what
Fucking
about
bad.
martial arts? Can two people agree to do martial arts with each other? That seems like it
Why
should be
not?
legal.
Why not? I mean, you could do it in a dojo. Why couldn't you go to a dojo and do it? I mean, I can. I can remember, you know, when I was down in North Carolina and shit. Like they had boxing programs and shit, and they'd see people that had that had them fucking issues and temper issues, and that's where they would. Those are the kids that would get put into them programs in school and shit.
Yeah, it sounds like a temper issue. I wouldn't want to make it a norm for a civilized society.
Well, no, I mean, just because you fucking get into an argument or a fist fight with somebody doesn't mean you're a violent person naturally. I mean,
Mm, it kind of does to me. Like I think
no, if
people
you
that are
do it
not
multiple
naturally
times,
violent wouldn't end up in those situations as frequently as people that are naturally violent. If that's your go-to response, I would call that natural violence.
I like how I didn't see nothing about fucking from Tommy D until I said something about Sable, and he goes, "Sable was hot. Sable was
Oh,
hot." And
I
Brock
didn't hear you
Lesnar is
say
a
anything
very
about
lucky
who's
man.
Sable. What's Sable?
Sable, she was fucking back in like '97. She next to after Sunny. Sunny was quote unquote the first diva of fucking wrestling, like the first sexy woman of wrestling. Then you had
I
Sable
thought it
that
was
came
China. What
in.
about China?
No. Then you had Sable that came in, and Sable was like quote unquote the first
She looks
woman
like a porn
sex
star.
symbol from. Oh, she did pose for Playboy twice. And I believe next to China, she has like one of the best selling, like for the WWE stars, she has one of the best selling spreads of all time.
So you like your women violent too?
Look now. There's nothing sexier than a woman with fucking that's tatted out and fucking piercings that will fucking knock a bitch the fuck out. And then we'll come fucking slob on your knob afterwards. I'm telling you,
We
there
definitely
ain't
have
nothing.
different taste. Yeah, I think. Yeah,
Typical
I agree,
fisherman.
Zeds.
Trish, I mean,
You know, fishermen
China
are
was
tough. You know that.
Butch, but
She was
China
on some
did
reality show. I forgot which one. Maybe it was The
who?
Surreal Life.
Who?
But I know her from some reality TV show she was on.
Who? Who?
China.
She was on a reality show.
Yeah.
I
Believe me, that's I would not know her from anywhere else.
unless it was like fucking was it the VH1 show? One of them VH1 shows.
Let's see. Celebrity Fear Factor she was on. I guess. Oh yeah, The Surreal Life. So she was on a season of The Surreal Life. That's probably where I know her. And I used to watch Fear Factor. So I probably know her from those shows.
China, once she got the boob job and lost some of the muscle, she did get better looking, especially by the time she did the Playboy spread. But then after that, once she left WWE and she got into the drugs hardcore and alcohol, she definitely went
Yeah, she
downhill.
died on alcohol overdose mixed with some other drugs.
Yeah,
Painkillers,
opiates.
benzos, alcohol, and a sleeping aid. That almost doesn't seem accidental if you have all that in your system at the same
Well,
time.
benzos and alcohols are fucking. Cause cause I had a buddy. He fucking. That's what happened to him. He was drinking and drinking, and then he was mixing liquid methadone with Kool Aid and drinking that too. And fucking them things don't mix. And he went to sleep and never woke the fuck up. I felt bad too because I ditched him that day. I was supposed to go hang out with him, and then the girl I was dating, she wanted to come over, so I fucking was like, all right, well, so I hung out with her instead of him, and then fucking got that call fucking the next morning about 9 o'clock. So
Yeah, it's a different lifestyle. I mean, I've had friends in the drug lifestyle, and I guess the violent lifestyle, maybe. I didn't really hang out around a lot of violent people though. One of my best friends was a two-time felon, but he was not. He could fight too. He knew martial arts, and if he had to take care of himself, he could. But he didn't go around provoking. It was not his like go-to response. But for the most part, I didn't grow up with a lot of violence, and I didn't
well,
hang
no,
out
you
with
don't go
people that
around
were
looking for.
violent.
You don't go looking for a problem. That's the worst thing you can do is go looking for a problem. When you go looking for one, that's usually you find problems you don't want.
I mean, I did get my nose broken, but it was some drunk guy at a gay bar. I'm sure he was on cocaine or who knows what else. He was
That
definitely not in
happened.
his normal state of mind.
I had that happen one time because I wouldn't take a guy to go fucking. He wanted to go to the store. He goes, but he goes, I'll go to the store and I'll walk in and just walk out with a bottle. I go, I'm not taking you to the fucking store so you can steal a bottle of alcohol. Why not? I'm not doing it. I'm fucking sleeping.
Why not? You have to explain that to somebody
And I'm
why
like,
you're
I'm
not
not fucking
taking them
doing
to
it.
steal alcohol.
So I was fucking sleeping. He jumped on the fucking he jumped fucking on top of me when I was on the couch and fucking cocked me right fucking between the fucking nose, dude. I was fucking pissed. I was like, what the fuck was that? And then I've never seen somebody run so fucking fast as what he fucking did afterwards. He ran and fucking locked himself in his fucking bedroom. I go, you fucking little bitch. What the
I must
fuck?
have been really sheltered because I don't know where these people were having to fight all the time. It didn't happen at school.
That's because you're
It didn't
gay.
happen on the
Gay men don't
playground. It
fight.
didn't happen at the local park. Did it happen in their homes where they have it like backyard fights in their home that I
Look,
just
look.
wasn't
Do you
aware of?
see
I know
Where are
for
gay
all
men
me.
these
being
people
fighters?
learning to fight?
Look, I know for me when I was a kid going to school in fucking Baltimore and shit, when I was younger and all that, like being one of fucking three white kids in my whole entire grade, you being the fucking white dude, you got fucking the little white boy in school, you got picked on quite a bit. And
But
then I
picked on
moved
is
up.
not needing to learn how to fight.
Well, it is when you're fucking getting your face fucking shoved into the fucking cement
That's more than being
every
picked on then.
goddamn fucking
Because
recess
I've
outside
taught
by
in
a
plenty
group
of
of
schools. I used
fucking.
to teach in the inner city schools, and kids there didn't even have to learn how to fight daily to survive the schools.
Well,
So I'm trying to think. I can think of like maybe prison. Somebody might need to fight to survive or something. But where in an ordinary life growing up in America, even in the 70s, 80s, has it gotten worse? Maybe are the younger kids
I
facing
think
more
crime
violence these
that's all I
has
gotta
days?
say.
reduced.
Louisiana is a whole different
Crime has reduced.
lifestyle then, because if
I
people
didn't.
don't
If
fight, if there
anybody
ain't
was going to
people
get
that
picked on,
fight
it
in
was going to be
Louisiana,
me, and I did a little bit. Mostly, it was PE class with the dodgeball. That was the most violence that was directed at me, and I didn't feel like I had to learn to fight because I was hit with a dodgeball.
but okay, but being hit with a dodgeball versus being fucking,
I'd go home
you
with
know,
bruises. They had to take me out of PE. I'd go home with bruises every day after dodgeball
well,
class.
I mean, all it takes is you to fucking stand up for yourself, and most people will fucking cut it the fuck
What do
out.
you
And
do?
that's
I
what
told
it
them to
is.
stop. It's the whole class. It's
Well,
like
no, no.
20
Listen,
people
listen, Jeff.
all targeting you at the same time with balls.
Jeff, just like I told you about before, right? When the whole shit with like the Eminem with Mike that one time, right? When I when I was in the Air Force and shit and growing up, it was beating your head. Like if you let people know a particular issue bothers you, right? And you every time they do it, it visibly shows that it bothers you, and you don't stand up for yourself. Them are the people that are gonna
Yeah, the low
continuously do it
lives. The
over
low
and over
lives are
and over.
going to be the people that continue to do it. The civilized people are not going to sit there and sadistically just continue to hammer on somebody's vulnerabilities.
Well, I got bullied a lot, and I never went physical, but it was more talking. But Jesus, if I knew about how to defend myself, well, I don't think if I fought them back, they would stop. Well, actually, no, they probably would. If I
What
fought them
great? What
back, but I
great?
probably get
What age
arrested.
was this?
Like my teenage time,
What did you get?
and then I left school, and then I
What
left
would they
school,
have
and
done,
then
Philip? Honestly, what did they? How did they bully you? What happened? It was like teasing
because I was weird. I was like a foreigner, so I was like not really native, so they're kind of racist or something, and that was a bit weird,
in
a bit
Ireland. Wait,
autistic
hey,
vibe.
hang on though. Explain it for the Americans, because we don't know the different Irish
I'm half
distinctions. It was.
French, and I look like a Jew, so they used to call me a bit of "you're a Jew."
Are these people you
And
went to
I
school
didn't
with
have
your
any
whole
friends.
life, or was it a new school?
No, I went there like just like secondary school or something. But I mean, that's the experience I had. It was really bad, and then I left halfway through the school. Then I did other courses, and then I never got bullied again. But yeah, I mean, bullying is serious, and it can probably traumatize you for life. And yeah,
I got
and
bullied
if I
too, a little
fought
bit,
back,
but it didn't
like if I
traumatize me.
fought back physically, because I think I was pretty stronger than the guys that were doing it to me. If I fought them back physically, I probably would have got more in trouble, and I probably would have stopped, but I probably would have.
Dude, I can remember there was a kid. What were we? Sixth grade, seventh grade. There was this bigger kid. He fucking picked on me all the time. He lived right up the road from me. Well, fucking pulled in. He was up the road. He was up at the end of the my driveway, fucking yelling. Well, we pulled in with my dad. My dad stopped the vehicle. Right. My dad looked at me. He goes, "I'm gonna tell you this." He goes, "Either you get out and whip his ass, or he goes, I'm gonna whip your ass." I'm like, Jesus, right?
So your dad contributed to this.
Right? And I was like, well, what the fuck? So, so
I
dad,
feel so
so
sheltered.
anyway, so dad was like, so I got out and dad let it go. So I went overboard, right? I fucking lost it. What the hell did I picked up? A stick or something? I went to go hit him with a fucking stick because, I mean, he was quite a bit bigger than me. And I went to hit him. My dad, he goes, enough. He goes, you hit him a few times. He goes, he ain't gonna fuck with you no more. Me and that guy become best friends until he fucking rolled his tractor over and died. He was at work and rolled his tractor over a bank and died. But yeah, me and him grew to be really good friends after that.
Yeah, I've had that
Really
happen
good friends.
too. Where I do know that standing up to the bully helps, but I've never had to do it physically. I could always
Now
stand
my
up to him
dad
with my
really
big
wouldn't have whooped
mouth.
my ass, but it was one of them things where, like, he wouldn't have whooped my ass if I didn't deserve it. Like, you know what I mean? It was just one of them figure of speech, like, you know what I mean? Don't be. Pretty much, my dad was telling me, "Don't be a bitch. He's here calling you the fuck out. Don't fucking run, or he's gonna keep,
I can't
he's
even
gonna
see
keep
that that
fucking
was a
doing it."
danger.
Yeah, I was too polite. I was too nice to the bullies. I didn't fight. I didn't verbally fight back. I should have been
I just
tougher.
ignored them. I stopped going to school. In fact, I just
See,
they
that's
would
that.
chase me
See,
on
there you
on their
go. It
bicycles after
affected
school. I'd run
you.
to the
Let them
library.
affect you to the point where you stop going to school. See, you
Oh,
just admitted it
that's
right
not
there.
why I
You,
stopped.
you
That was
just
just a
admitted
side
it. Yeah,
benefit.
you
I
can't back
stopped
out.
because I wasn't learning anything. I was
No, no,
bored.
don't try to backpedal now, Jeff.
I
You
haven't
try to.
backpedaled, Leggy. You can. I've told this story 100 times on my past streams. I've told it the same way every time. I was bored to tears. I was bored to the point of emotional and mental breakdown. That was more torture for me than any of the bullying that went on the school. The bullying was minor. The educational environment at the school is I homeschooled myself. I would stay home and read encyclopedias and do all this educational stuff. That is why I quit going to school. It wasn't because of the bullies. The bullying happened in
Did
PE
you ever get
class
bullied?
mostly. They took me out of PE. A few of the kids would chase me on their bicycles after school. I'd run to the library, and the librarians would let me sit behind their desk until they went away. The main thing with my bullies, though, a lot of the bullies were the kids of the school staff. It was the teachers' kids. Some of them worked in the principal's office. One of them, their dad was the assistant principal. So it was the kids from the adults in the community, and so nobody did anything to them. They were enabled and empowered. So I was more. My issue was more with the adults than the kids. The kids were just a symptom of what the adults were allowing.
I always talk about that. I always get a kick. We had this one. Believe it or not, this fucking woman's still at the school. But and I've been out of school for fucking 20 years.
Yeah, it was
But
the
she,
parents and the adults, and the teachers hated me. The teachers hated me more than the kids.
well, listen, I get a kick out of it because she would like be, yes, she would come into gym class and help out like, because her and the PE instructor, they're like best friends. They graduated high school together and then started working at the high school together. So, anyways, she used to wear fucking low cut V tops and fucking like, most schools it's shorts had to be fingertips, right? She would wear fucking shorts that fucking ride right up in her cooch and fucking V-neck shirts. She'd fucking bend over to stretch and her fucking titties would hang right the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, in high school, her nickname was Lay Me Back Bagley because rumor has it she took the whole entire basketball team uh, one night after a game. So, and apparently she's the reason the cheerleaders and the basketball team don't ride the same bus.
Right? Who was she? Just some random
She
No, I
helper
mean
sucked
that.
she
there.
become a teacher. She become a teacher, but when she was in high school, though, her nickname was Lay Me Back Bagley.
Oh, yeah, she was one of those.
Yeah, yeah. And even today, I mean, her being in her
Yeah, there's
sixties,
all these
she still
characters.
she still walks around like she's fucking in her fucking late 30s, 40s. Cause I asked somebody went to school. I go, tell me. I go, is Lynn? I go, is she still? I go, she's still dressing like she's a teenager and bitching at the girls because they look better than her. Because that's what we used to say it when we were in high school. She just used to bitch at the. She used to bitch at the good-looking girls, not the ugly girls. Like the ugly girls could pretty much wear what the fuck they wanted, but if they were good-looking, she would bitch at you. Miss too thin of straps, Miss whatever. Or Miss, don't you think you
She
should
sounds like a
have
Karen.
a little bit less cleavage?
No, but
Good
like
woman though.
adults get bullied too, don't they? I mean, it's probably the same percentage.
Yeah, they
Adults get
do,
bullied. Yeah.
and especially like females do a lot of bullying. They do a different type of bullying, but a lot of the Karening that I talk about to me is a form of bullying.
Oh,
They do
females are
relational
vindictive.
aggression.
It's like my kid. She's 13, almost, well, 14. Fuck, she'll be 14 here in a couple days. Anyways, fucking her and her friends, man. I've never seen so much fucking drama as I've seen with teenage fucking girls. One minute they're best friends, they're all over at the house. Next minute, I hear she's a bitch. I'm like, holy hell! Like, what the hell's going on? Gosh, they're just saying mean
She
things,
sounds just like you, Lecky.
and I'm just like, mean things. Yeah, but I'm not like that. I'm not fucking. Like, I don't fight with fucking my friends and then fucking them over the fucking house like 2 days later. You know what I mean? If you start saying some ignorant fucking shit about me, that's it. We're done. You know?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I have no. I could draw. I can very easily draw a boundary. I've never had a problem
It's
with that.
like my best friend from high school. She started working at the store where my wife works. Well, I haven't talked to her for a long time because my brother did something stupid in high school and it made the newspapers and shit. Not a bomb threat, nothing like that. But he just did something stupid and it made the fucking newspaper.
Well, you got to
And
tell us now.
no, I'm not, because then then somebody could look it up and
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, no.
Was it
Anyways,
criminal? Was something criminal he did?
mm,
Yeah.
borderline. It was more he got accused because he really didn't do it. Come to find out, actually, to come to find out, he really didn't do it. That's why he was allowed back in school. But anyways, uh, she said something ignorant about it afterwards online. I asked her about it, and she tried to justify it. And I go, look, how long have you known me? She whatever. And I go, how long have we been friends? I go, to say something that fucking ignorant and shit is quite fucked up. And I go, especially since, we're fucking as close as what, we're supposed to be. And it just, me and her had a falling out and I hadn't talked to her in fucking 15 years or something like that. And then instead of loading and holding, she fucking moved back to the state and gets a job with my wife. My wife messages me that day she starts and she finds out. She goes, so apparently your best friend from high school just started here? Of course, in my mind, I go, who the fuck is this? Like, who the fuck? You know what I mean? Because, like, as far as guys go, my best friend he had heart issues, had a hole in his heart. Him and his twin, they both had the same birth defect. And it got them, like, 6 years apart. But that's not here or there. But, anyways, so I was all confused, and then I found that out, and I was like, well, what the fuck?
Where are you getting your
Wow.
accent from? It sounds from it sounds is that the main accent? Because it's funny
Well,
sounding.
it's, yeah, something like that, yeah. It's a main accent, I guess.
Because it sounds like the guy from what's that show called?
Trailer
Yeah,
Park
yeah, I know.
Boys.
Fucking Bubbles. I know. I'm Bubbles. I know all about it.
I
You're
don't even.
about the 100th fucking person.
I don't know Bubbles. I'm gonna watch him right now.
You just play a 30-second clip of Bubbles. That's all you got to do. Of him talking about the kitties. His kitties.
Kitty, like cats or kids?
Ki- No, cats. Like kitties. Oh, my kitties. Especially when he goes to jail. Oh,
Lover
you're
of
so good.
kitties.
Oh, fuck. Bubbles. Julian. Oh, there should be enough food here for water for
He has
we're
his
gone.
voice is deeper than yours.
Well, probably, but still. I want to say, fuck, man. I want to say it was Kane, Corso Mom. I believe she was the first one to tell me I sounded like Bubbles. I feel like.
Milton.
Whoa, what the fuck is that?
Okay, let me compare it to Milton. Milton cracks me
No,
up.
but my accent's a bit weird too,
It's
isn't it?
kind of a combination of both. Milton has the
American and
closer
Irish.
to his pitch. I want to see if there's other main accents on YouTube.
Bob Marley's all you got to do. Bob Marley.
Translating weird things Mainers say.
All right, play it. Play it. Let's see. What do they got? What do they got? You tell me the word, and I'll tell you if I know what it is.
Oh no, I can understand what he's saying. Let's see. I'll try to find one closer to yours. Is it a certain section of Maine? Lobster.
Down east, down east. Oh, Tim Sample or Tim Simple, or whatever the fuck his name is. Look him up.
Who?
I think it's Tim Sample. I think.
Tim Sample Maine humor.
He's a staple. When we used to have the I don't even know if we do it anymore, but on PBS every year on the main public broadcasting network,
He
they used to
sounds
do
Irish.
what's called the Great Maine auction, and it fucking was a televised auction that you could call, and it was like a whole week long. You call in and bid on these objects and shit. That was a big moneymaker for PBN.
Cats
Is
are
there a lot of
demons.
Irish people in Maine?
Well, I mean, I feel like we like this part of Maine. I feel like has a lot of Irish heritage and shit in it, cause like
I'm gonna look
Crowley,
up the Maine accent.
because we used to be part of Massachusetts a long time ago. So, but Maine, you see, you can't though, because Maine has like three different regions. You have Southern Maine, Down East Maine, and then you have Northern Maine. So like each one has their own. Like Southern Maine really kind of don't really sound like anything too much. Down east, you got more like even more like me and even stronger. And then north, you kind of have like a French type accent to it.
It says it has its roots in the Yankee accent that can be traced back to the colonial era. Yorkshire, Lancashire. For example, Bar Harbor becomes Bar Harbor, and car is pronounced car. None of those sound British, though.
I mean, I know. Whoa. Yeah, I know I sound nothing like Tim Sample. He just wanted Maine accent. So I was just giving. He has like the Southern Maine accent, like you know what I mean, like I don't know how to explain it. There's just very distinctive types of Maine accents. Like you got Bob Marley, you got Tim Sample, you got me,
Barb
you got
Marley.
yeah.
The spirit of America. That's I associate it with woke. All those woke people. New England is so woke. I don't associate with with the spirit of America at all.
I got family in
Did you just say New
Massachusetts.
England was
Irish.
woke?
Yeah,
No. California is
and
fucking
New
woke.
England.
No,
I just
fuck
had some
no.
friends that they left Vermont because it got so woke. They moved to Florida.
Okay, that's Vermont. Vermont's a
Is
fucking
Vermont
that's
not
a
New
liberal
England?
state, anyways. We're talking about Maine here, bud.
I
Massachusetts,
said New
Maine.
England.
Well, Vermont, you might as well say it's Canada.
You can look at a
Okay.
map. Look at an election map.
I know where Vermont is. I'm very well where what my New England states are. What I'm
No,
trying to
I'm not.
say,
I know. You know your New England
Vermont's a
states.
different,
I'm
but
talking
Vermont's
about
a
to see the
different,
wokeness.
but Vermont's a different. Maybe Vermont it say is, but I wouldn't say New England as a whole is woke. Maybe Vermont.
Let's see. New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island. They all voted blue this election. Maine had one little representative that they gave to Donald because y'all have that extra.
Well, that's
Uh,
because that's because of Southern Maine. Like if you actually pull up a map of Maine, right? It's pretty much Southern Maine that makes it blue. Like us here in like Washington County and shit, we're red.
I thought you were in
Hancock County.
southern Maine. That's where the
No,
coast
no,
is.
I'm in Down East Maine.
Oh. Yeah, it doesn't. Just from your stories, it doesn't sound very blue there.
Yeah, yeah. No, we're especially my town. My town's definitely a fucking red town. It's like everybody tried to fuck. They tried to this year here on the ballot. They wanted to bring back the old Maine state flag from like the turn of the century. I'm go, why? I'm like nobody wants a white flag with a fucking green tree and a green star. Come on now.
That sounds cool, actually. Which flag is that? Maine?
Well, that was the old flag. They were trying to make it. They were trying to make the old flag the new flag.
Yeah, the gays are trying to do that too. Let's see. Oh
I don't
yeah, it
like
does
it.
look kind of plain.
Exactly.
It
I
looks like
like
a
the deer.
flag like people would make in Bible school or something.
I
Church.
like exactly. It looks like a fucking like a scouts going on fucking a retreat up through the mountains or something. You know, a
Yeah.
flag.
It's this one.
Yeah, they want to fucking go to that. Yeah, or
Yeah,
blue. I
that's
guess
too
it's the blue
plain.
star.
That's too plain.
Yeah.
Too
And
simplistic.
then ours blue with the crest in it. I think, and it has like deer.
Hey, fatty. I was thinking about you the other day for some reason. How are you doing after the election? There doesn't seem to be as many traumatized people as there were the first time around. At least on here.
You go skiing in Maine. Is there good skiing in Maine, or is there no mountains? Do they ski in Maine? Can you ski in Maine?
Oh, fun times. Fun times.
Do they have skiing in Ireland?
Hello. No.
No. Do you have mountains?
But the weather's pretty cold now, so it might snow, but we can't ski. Is there
So are
skiing
you in
in
Northern
Maine,
Ireland
Lenny?
or Southern Ireland?
Southern Ireland.
So you don't have to put up with the fucking all the
You
fucking.
seem very calm and laid back for an Irish person. Like very chill.
Uh, well, I'm not really, but yeah, yeah. No, Irish people are pretty chill. I mean, Ireland is like the coolest country in the world.
I thought they had a reputation for being kind of boisterous and wild.
Well, the Fighting Irish, but we're pretty woke. Well,
Oh, are
not
you?
really, actually.
Uh.
Not really. No. Well, a lot of people last time.
Uh-oh. You're breaking up again.
Last week, we kicked
Yeah.
out the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church used to be very powerful. Now we're becoming less religious, so we're becoming more woke. But the right is fighting back with a right punch. So the right might. We are getting local elections now on Friday, and I think the right might win more, which I'm worried about. Because
Is
I'm the
that...
Green Party,
I
actually.
thought you were on the woke side.
Yeah, I'm Green Party.
Oh, Green
And the
Party. Okay.
independent party now are gaining power, and they're all like climate change deniers, conspiracy people. Well, not all of them, but some of them are. A lot of them are.
It's good you can recognize that. Yeah, isn't Ireland already
Yeah,
pretty green?
Ireland is rich, so there's a lot of foreigners coming here, and there's a backlash to that. The prices of property are going up, and they're
That
blaming
happened in
foreigners
California
for
when
that.
Californians move to other states too. They drive everything up.
Yeah,
No, that's what happened here during
Zence
COVID.
doesn't buy that you're Irish.
yeah. Well, I was born in France. I'm half French, but I lived here most of my life.
You've always
I'm a
sounded
foreigner.
Irish to me. The little we can hear.
Yeah.
Zence, this is usually his microphone's not ever working. This is one of the first times I've actually gotten to have a extended conversation with him because every time he tries to come up, he can't get his mic to work. Is that? Well, the internet says no. They're not buying it.
It's probably because I watch a lot of American media, so my accent is getting the American accent. Because I have family in America, so I watch a lot of American stuff.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
can
I
hear it. It
also
definitely. I would not think you were from America. I definitely hear an accent.
I mean,
I'm
Dutchie.
half.
I mean, I swear right him down, she's American, but no,
Who?
she no, Dutchie.
Oh God.
I swear right him down, she's American. I go, you
She's what?
sound more
Amsterdam,
American than I do,
Hollandies,
and she's
Dutch.
like, no, I'm from Holland. I'm
Yeah.
like,
No, I hear it in her.
no, it's what she says when she gets going. You can hear it, but me, May I feel like she's fucking West Coast.
Oh,
Fucking,
fatty! Congratulations.
oh no shit. That's awesome.
How how many Nazis are you down to? You said y'all only had about 30 left. No, Phil, I'm talking about when they when I lived in Vegas, the Californians would move up, like migrate into Vegas, and then they drive the Vegas prices up. And
Well, it's like anything.
Washington State too. They had a big influx of Californians.
Well, yeah,
And
when
in
you have
Texas, they're going to Texas too and doing it there.
a more competitive housing market means prices are going to be more. So, because that's what happened here. Like I think it was like a 12% increase on the average property after COVID. So
12%. That's a lot. You mean like just home values?
yeah, like as far as
Oh,
like people buying houses, like what they were before, like the out of state market. Because like a lot of people around here, they'll list them like they'll list them on the in-state market, and then they'll list them on the out of state market. And the out of state market's usually listed a little bit higher than in-state too.
oh,
Because like there's a particular house here on Beals. Uh, the local real estate company, it's like 75,000 or something. I mean 750,000 or something like that. If you do it through this brokerage company, this internet that's also offering it, uh, it's like 1.3. But it also comes with a house right on the water, a wharf, a deep wa- a wharf, and a garage with a rental above it, like a full size rental. So,
oh, that sounds like a lot.
like I mean, it's really a nice property. It really is. So,
It
and
sounds
it
like
comes with a mooring, and there's a mooring that comes with it, a boat mooring. So,
it sounds like house prices are going up all over the world. I
oh,
know.
they
Well, I
are.
know
I mean,
there's probably some countries that the house prices go down, like probably in Eastern Europe,
I don't know.
poor countries.
Louisiana, it's still pretty cheap. I was amazed at the real estate prices down there.
gee, Sean, this might be a good way for you to win $20. Somehow figure out a way to prove where you live, get $20.
I'm pretty sure he's in Ireland. He's streamed before. He's cammed up before from his car, and the scenery looked Irish.
I mean, you listen to some people from Australia. Some of them have a stronger accent than others. I mean, same thing with here in Maine. You listen to some people, they don't seem to have much of an accent. You listen to others, and it's like, damn, like you know what I mean. So it's just the way it goes, I think.
It depends on the area too in the market, because up here housing is very expensive because there's not a lot of it. Because they the way things are zoned, there's not a lot of places they can put new housing, and so it creates a demand that would be higher than somewhere else.
What was it last year in Utah that all them fucking apartment building townhouses and shit was washing away from all the rain and shit because like and I was looking at them, I go, fuck, it's all new construction, fucking sand and dirt and shit. I go, no wonder fucking the shit they've brought all that shit in, haven't given the time for the land to, settle down, then you build it on it. That shit, of course when it gets saturated with water, she's gonna shift out, you know? And they didn't have no fucking. They should have had big rocks all the way around it to fucking to hold for some type of barrier to hold all that shit in there. You kind of can't just bring dirt in and expect it to stay. But all right, anyways, I'm out of here. I gotta bounce. I got shit I gotta do. But
Okay.
have a good night, y'all.
Well, be careful. We'll
All right,
see you next
bye.
time,
Yeah,
hopefully.
yeah, but yeah, I'll let you go. Okay. Nice talking to you.
You too. I'm glad we got to talk. I'm glad your stuff's working now. Come up again.
Same thanks, but
All right. Take care, Sean. All right. I think that was a pretty decent show today. I may or may not be out for a fireside chat tonight. Bex and I, once a year, I rewatched Twin Peaks and True Detective. So I started that marathon. We're about 3 episodes into Twin Peaks. And we're also doing our mole watching because eventually I think we're going to try to develop a panel game version that we can play online and stream. So there'll be a lot of Discord watching today. So if I get a chance to come do an evening stream, I'll do that. If not, I will be back tomorrow. Same time, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Oh, yeah, here's what I might do tomorrow morning. It depends on the weather. I'll do it sometime this week. There's a job center here. It's like through the state, and they help you with job searches and employment and stuff like that. So I may go live stream my visit down there, and so I can show people the process, that people that might be searching for employment, some of the options that are out there, how to access them, etc. And on the way back, I'll stop at McDonald's and get me some fries. So that may happen tomorrow morning too. Just keep an eye on the stream. It'll be spontaneous if it does. I don't know. He's been around for a while. He's been a regular here for a while, and he's been pretty consistent about being Irish. I kind of take him at his word. I have people that try to tell me I'm not Cajun or partially or whatever. I also get told I'm white passing. Anyway, I'll see you when I see you, probably tomorrow at some point. So have a good rest of your day. Come join us in Discord if you want. And if not, I will see you at the next one. All right. What a day. Hell of a stream. Don't fight and beat each other up and try to stay out of jail. All right, take care.